Hades was pissing me off.
Hey, Pong. You know, I would love to continue with you, but I have to let you know, that we weren't live, man.
What? Look.
No, I recorded it. Now I do want you to know that it is recorded, but yeah, man. I mean, we weren't live. I don't know what happened. You know.
I guess I wish somebody would have told you that. I wish somebody would have mentioned that.
Oh, wait, we're gonna start over, ladies and gentlemen. Watch this right here. Hey, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't hit the live let's go live button. I don't know what happened. So guess what? I'm going to introduce the show again because I'm just fantastical like that. And it's, even on the recording, it's going to be doubled up. I'll just cut it on the back end. It is what it is. Things happen.
You're about to get some smoke, bro.
That's fine. We'll get some smoke. I'll take that smoke because Pong did say, "Hey, I don't see us live," and I was like, "Hey, don't worry about it. It says we're recording." I hit the stream button. But look, man, you're here with one of the most fantastical gentlemen in the podcast streets, along with one of the hostess with the mostest, your guy Steel Rain, bringing the pain, no puns intended, on your Saturday morning, bringing the energy, passion, hype, and everything that you could ever have on a Saturday, man. Hey, Pong, the uncanny man, the man that has some smoke.
God, man.
What's going on, man? What's going on?
Look, chat, I told this man, and he refused to believe me that we weren't live on YouTube.
I did.
I'm the one who is dead tired because I have a sick wife, a sick dog. These past 2 nights have been hell. I'm the one who's telling him he's got to babysit me today.
Facts.
If I get off track, he needs to pull me back in. And here he is trying to tell me that we're not live, and yet we aren't live. And look, okay. All right.
Hey, man. Hey,
everybody. No, don't. Your time is done. All right?
It's hilarious.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Living Split Screen, episode 25. Living Split Screen, proud members of the Midweek Collective.
Yes.
Shout out to Dutch and the entire crew over there. Man, this has been something, man. What a week. We got smoke everywhere. We got Acquisition season opening in Redmond, Washington, or is it? But we got a lot to talk about, Steel. This has been a crazy week. You and I got to beat Origami last weekend.
Yes.
We've been telling people about Origami. Everybody's seeing, obviously play in the background here, where I was carrying Steel like a little poodle in a backpack for part of this. Because my brother was, I don't know what he was doing, but he wasn't playing the game. He was dying. So I don't know. I wanted
to get some gameplay of you, man. That's what it really was. I wanted to see people to see you. They always see me.
Yeah, everybody see that console player? That's me. Okay, that's me right there. Anyways,
then I had to carry him. Don't worry.
Yeah, you did. You did have a couple levels where you had to carry my ass. So, especially the platforming garbage.
Yeah.
But anyways, Origami 2 is now out. Reminder to everybody out there. Go download Origami 2, especially if you're an old school gamer who remembers Tenchu and is looking for some of that ninja feels. Go download Origami 2. It's on Game Pass. Absolutely, I can't wait to jump into it with Steel. We have not had a chance to, but we will this weekend. Great game. Origami 1 was a great game. Can't wait to play Origami 2. They expanded it a lot, so I can't wait to see what they've done with it. I was complaining about Hades. Finally got my first run through on Hades completed. That felt awesome. That freaking addicting cheating ass game. I finally beat it. I beat it. Yeah. Keep going back through it again, but I finally got my first run through, so that felt awesome. Otherwise, Artful Escape, been playing that. Short game. I've got to finish it off here, but man, what a cool game. Cool game. Some people are disappointed because it's a little simplistic, which it is, but this is one of those games that's more just the experience.
Yeah.
It's more the experience, and it's more the story. The story is so good. It's about coming into age, figuring out who you are as a person. A lot of good stuff in there, like a lot. If you're a deep person, if you're introspective, a lot of good things in there. Really, really liking that. So, but I can't think what else, man, this week, man. I think that's about it for me, Steel. What have you had a chance, bro? I know you got this crazy schedule going on now. You're into this new job, like full swing.
That's right.
You got stuff going on. We are on opposite schedules now. So when I'm sleeping, Steel is awake.
I am. That facts.
And that's how this is working out now. But what have you been doing this week, man? Anything good?
Yeah, man, if as far as like gaming goes, nah, I haven't like done any gaming. I hopped on Destiny for a bit and just walked around the tower and didn't do anything. Other than that, and that was like for 5 minutes, honestly. Other than that, I've been building my Gundam, man. For those who don't know, check out the Twitter. Yeah, I do have some pics up of it. I finally finished my Iron Man Winged Zero Gundam custom build. It was a quite a feat. So definitely check that out if you're on Twitter. Check that out, man. But other than that, I am excited to get into some games today. I do have some plans possibly this afternoon. I guess we'll see how things go because I do want to see Shang-Chi also. This is one of those things. As a Marvel guy, I need to go ahead and get that knocked out just to have something extra to talk about because I love being informed with that. I'm trying to avoid the spoilers and everything. But as far as that goes, yeah, man, it's been kind of my week. I've been unfortunately unable to really dive into gaming as much as I usually would love to. That's been kind of a thing that's been sitting on my shoulders, but you make sacrifices for other hobbies, right? And that's what makes this gaming so unique is at the end of the day, you have to remind yourself that it is a hobby. There are other things, other life events are still happening around you. You still have to live. You still have to do other things that you like to do. And sometimes you got to take a break. But guess what? I haven't not been listening. I've been paying attention to what's going on in the scene. People are saying it's acquisition season. You know that me and Pong got to talk about it because we care about everything that's going on within the gaming industry. We're a non-console-centric platform, so it doesn't matter where the games are coming from. We have to talk about them. We need to talk about them. And who is about to get bought next? Because we already have heard Satya Nadella himself come out and say, yo, we're looking to buy more because of what we're trying to accomplish with Game Pass. So we got a lot of interesting things to talk about today, man. So hopefully y'all are going to be tuned in, locked in to this wonderful episode 25, almost an episode away from halfway into a year doing this, Pong. How does that make you feel so far? Let's start the podcast with that before we really dive into upcoming games and whatnot. Let's give the people some life, something a little more personal, man. How you feeling about this journey so far? That it's almost 26 episodes in, almost a half a year into it, man.
Hey, look, are you sure we're live right now?
Yeah, I'm sure we're live. I'm 100%.
Okay. Oh, okay. 100%. All right. I just want to double check that. I don't want to have to restart this all over again. No, man. No, man. Look, again, we give the people something personal. I think every episode we give little glimpses into how we're feeling. I think that's something that does set us apart from things this half year. Like I said, just last week, I think when we were talking about it, look, out of all the craziness that has happened, out of all the awfulness that has happened with the pandemic and everything going on, this right here is a piece of the good stuff that I will forever remember, no matter what, at the end of the day. This community jumping in here, and specifically, obviously, all the shows that I'm a part of, but obviously meeting you, brother, of all things, and then starting this show. And having it go as well as it has gone now on episode 25, almost a half year in. it can't be replaced. That stuff can't be that stuff is the memories that you take with you for a lifetime. So that's where I'm coming from with this. It's crazy. Again, every Saturday morning, no matter what, like I said, I am dead today. I am dead today, but this energy is not fake. This energy is real. Why? Because man, I get to get on here with my brother from another steel rain and talk about my favorite hobby and my favorite industry. And that is real. That is truly from the heart. This is something that, again, neither one of us are getting paid. So we do this because we love it, and we do this because it means something to us.
Mm-hmm.
And to find somebody else who wants to share that experience and do something like this, create a channel, create a show, and wherever this takes us, you can't replace it, man. You can't. So again, appreciate you as always. Love you, brother, and mean that. This is something good, man. And when we get to that year mark, it's going to be even crazier. when we get to 5 years, it's going to be even crazier.
Yeah,
right?
it is. Yeah,
so,
facts.
No, absolutely, Steel. Oh man, I just love you, brother, and thank you for all that you do behind the scenes. I give you a hard time when shit goes awry, but I have to. So, but I appreciate it. And again, it just, you find these little things in life that continue to fulfill you,
right?
That have a special place. Never thought I was going to be doing this. Never thought I was going to. This was not my goal, man. This was not. I was just having a good old time at chat. That was where I was at. So to be here, to have these beautiful ass people show up every single week that we do, spread the word, and have been sharing us out and just enjoying conversating with us. And not just in this chat, but in all the chats I'm a part of, all the shows I'm a part of, this entire community, that, man, that truly, truly gets you, gets me just feeling filled, with love and respect for everybody around this whole entire community. So I again, I'm rambling now at this point because I do again, when I think about this stuff, the feelings do bubble up. So I'm old enough guy. I'm an old hat that I get those feelings now because you as you get older, you tend to start falling into your feelings more and more. Because you realize what's important. And yes, we have real life, but this is, when I say real life comes first, a part of this is real life too in this community. Now, the games industry as a whole, the hobby itself, that can take a back seat when real life stuff really hits. But this community and all the friends that I've made here, those are part of my real life too, because I care about everyone. So that is also a part of this as well. So the feelings do bubble up and bubble over when I talk about this stuff. But yeah, Steel. So, what do you think, brother? Half year, man, almost half year. 25 though. 25 is a cool number. So what do you think, man?
Well, in the meantime, between time while you do that, keep an eye on Dutch in the chat and whatnot and what he's talking about while I get into this. I do have to say from the jump, those words are super encouraging to me, man, because I feel the exact same way. Again, all of it started in the chat, and I want people to really understand that that's something that's organic. This is something that's natural. This isn't something that's forced where we're just getting on here like, we're just going to get on here and BS around. No, like the fact that me and Pong can't take time to really dive deeper into topics or talk more about this is more of something that is a bother to us than anything else, right? We would want to.
People want us to talk more.
I mean, as far as like being able to really set the show up how we would want it, to really plan it out and everything else, like the fact that we don't do that on a week-to-week basis, we pride ourselves on being organic. We pride ourselves on bringing the energy. We pride ourselves on just keeping it about the gaming industry and sticking to that has been such an amazing experience for me because, again, like I've always told the people, we all have a different perspective, and one of the perspectives that I had jumping into, especially with this community, was that anybody who played single player games was a casual gamer. And jumping into this community over this, almost a year that I've been in it, has kind of opened my eyes to realize there are people who care about gaming just as much as I did. And just because I play a multiplayer game doesn't make me more invested than anyone else, right? At the end of the day, it's part of that growing process, right? Where it's like, okay, at some point, you got to realize what's the point in all this. You know what I mean? You want to show people around you what's the real point in all this. Like, sure, we could sit here and bicker, go back and forth, have conversations like we do, right? That's the entire point in this, and that's what makes this so great. The difference in the differing opinions and us being able to go back and forth, like me and Paul might later about Battlefield, but
hey.
In some aspects, I just give you a little peek, but behind the curtain, but. It's so amazing to me how you can come together on two opposite planes with anyone from around the world and how close of a connection you end up building with them. Especially through gaming. Gaming has been that constant thing, and seeing gaming grow to what it has over the years. Again, you know, me being a younger dude, you know what I'm saying? Paul likes to talk about that shit all the time. You know what I mean? It's like seeing the two different worlds collide and kind of mesh together and come together over one single thing. I want people to understand that that's the bigger picture, right? That's what's possible. We don't have to all agree on everything, but we can agree on some things. And the things we can agree on, let's cherish those things, those memories, those moments, because life's too short otherwise, right? It's about the 3 billion, not just of 250, 500 million that we're capped out at as the console and PC space. We got to touch everybody, man, and I feel like that's the bigger point. And this has just been an amazing experience, man. And to see everybody in the chat, y'all messing with us, vibing with the energy, knowing what we bring to the community, we can do nothing but appreciate that, because if it wasn't for y'all coming back week by week, it wouldn't constantly encourage us to do this and show us that we're doing something right. And if we're not, hey, let us know. I'm about that smoke. I'm about constructive criticism. So it is what it is. But enough of the soft and soapy stuff. Yeah, so we talked about a little bit what we talked about. We know we got some life things going on behind the scenes. So we're just gonna get to business. Pong, there is some fantastic games coming out these upcoming weeks, and actually within the next upcoming week. So let's talk about these upcoming games, man.
Heck yeah. Where are we at? We are on the week of the 20th at this point. So again, GameInformer.com, not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and if anybody ever hears this list miss something, feel free to shout it out in chat so we can make sure that we're not missing any games that are coming. But other than that, yeah, this week is an interesting week. There's some really good stuff coming out this week. So we are going to dive into that for sure. My God, oh no, there it is. I was about to say, what the heck, Game Informer. I was like, wait, there's no way they're missing this, but they're still incorrect in here. Anyways. So again, anybody notices that we're missing anything coming out this week, or that we should know about, anything that, Game Pass is going to, let us know. Again, this list isn't perfect, but it's as good as it gets for right now. So we are going to roll with it. GameInformer.com//2021. Let's go. So this week, starting on the 21st, we're going to start off with what looks to be a hit. And we will find out very soon. This is one that has been talked about and shown quite a bit. So Kena, Bridge of Spirits. This is a special looking game. Now, whether or not it turns out to be, we're going to find out shortly, because on the 21st, this drops on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and PC. This is a Pixar looking title. This looks absolutely fantastic. Everything that I look for in a game, the color palette, the art direction, it's got the cute little critters. Mm-hmm. It's got you name it. This game has got it going. But again, we won't know about gameplay until it gets in people's hands. We have not seen any reviews, which is a little
off-putting, yeah. But
it's a little weird. Again, if you've been on
worse things have happened.
If you've been in this industry long enough and played enough games and paid attention, you know that normally on a game that is expected to review well, the reviews go out early. They typically, again, that's not across the board, but typically, especially for a game that's gotten a lot of hype like Kena, and people have been waiting on this game for quite a while. So yeah, Kena Bridge of Spirits, it's a timed exclusive from what we know. Could that change? Absolutely it could. It's Sony, so that could change at any point. But right now, you're going to be able to play it on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, PC. I am jealous of everybody who gets to touch this game because I just want to see the visuals. The visuals are off the chart for me. So I definitely take a look at that one if you guys are interested. Sheltered 2 for PC comes out on September 21st. This is a good game. This is a good, what do I want to say? This is a strategy game. Huh? Survival style strat game. I played Sheltered 1 on PlayStation. Word. Yeah, they released it on PlayStation. I played Sheltered 1, if I remember correctly. Again, I could be crazy right now because sleep deprivation does that to you. But Shelter 2 looks to be cool. Go check that out. PC Team 17. Team 17 is a great publisher. Love what they do. They just, I believe Team 17 is the publisher of Crown Trick, which is now on Game Pass, which I touched on a week or two ago as a turn-based roguelike game. Fantastic. Love the art direction in that one too. But they do publish some really, really good games developed by Unicube. So Shelter 2 comes out this week. Go check that out if you're on PC, you lucky bastards. No PC Master Race here. World War Z Aftermath. Now, this is pretty cool. World War Z Aftermath comes out for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC. World War Z is a good game. It has its issues, but World War Z, if you're looking for that co-op multiplayer experience, Left 4 Dead style game, obviously we're getting Back 4 Blood here soon, which is in that same realm. World War Z Aftermath is a tense kind of style. It's a lot like Aliens Fireteam as far as throwing a ton of stuff at you at one time. Like the zombies don't stop. Like they just don't stop in this game. And obviously a lot of people have been waiting for this new one, Aftermath. So that is coming out this week from Sable Interactive on the 21st. But I know a lot of people are going to jump into that one. I can't wait to see if it. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I wonder if it'll come to Game Pass eventually because it's one of those games that lends itself well to that. It is perfect for that. So World War Z was pretty big for a while when it was. I think it might still actually be in Game Pass right now. I think it is actually. Pokemon Unite.
There you go.
Man. Oh man, I've been waiting so long to get myself another Pokemon game.
I know, right for your phone.
Especially a Pokemon mobile game. Are you kidding me? This is right up my alley. I can have Pokemon all the time.
Yes,
I don't have to stop playing it. I can play it in the bathroom. This is fantastic.
Yes.
Pokemon Unite, iOS, Android, comes out September 22nd. All you Pokeheads out there, I mean, no offense to you at all. Pokemon's huge for a reason. It's
I might try it out for a little bit. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay. Again, more power to you, Steel.
Right on the phone. Yeah, at work. No.
So Diablo 2 Resurrected. Now, again, we talked about this. Activision Blizzard. Classic. Okay. Let's get this out of the way first. Because for me, we talked about this Activision Blizzard situation.
Yes.
So every time that we have one of their games pop up, I'm going to remind everybody that Activision Blizzard is under investigation for some horrendous allegations, okay, of company wide problems and things that have happened there. They are underneath that investigation by the state. They now have the employees union is also brought a lawsuit against them.
Yep.
So there is a lot going on over there that is absolutely horrible. Again, anybody out there who has decided that they are not going to purchase any more Activision Blizzard games, shout out to you. Understand completely where you're coming from. For me, again, those lawsuits are going to take care of themselves. Those lawsuits and people doing, the suing part of things for me is what's going to make changes happen within Activision.
Right.
For me, my feeling is that if you boycott and you don't give them your money, that's a personal decision. That's perfect. But at the end of the day, for me, I want to support the good people that are there.
Okay.
Because they're with devs, we know for a fact that many devs under contract are paid based upon performance of their games, at least a portion of it, right? Not everything, but a portion of it. There are good people within Activision Blizzard who have nothing to do with the allegations, who are still supporting their families, who can't simply pick up and move to a different company because it doesn't work that way. This is a cutthroat industry. Okay. So there's good people, they're still working. There's good people who worked on Diablo 2. I want to support those people because if from my point of view, if Activision Blizzard starts losing money, people stop purchasing their games. The first to be cut will be the devs, the low totem pole, right? That'll be the first to be cut. Look, they cut people when they're reporting record-breaking profits. What's going to happen when they're not having record-breaking profits anymore? They're going to cut more devs. So from my standpoint, that's where I stand. Again, I respect and understand everybody's decision when it comes to this stuff. But I did say whenever we talk about one of their games, upcoming games, that we would remind everybody, because we should never forget what this company is going through. But I believe the lawsuits are what gets when the lawsuits get so big and they create such a risk, that's when you see people at the top really affected. And that's when you see the board of the board and the investors speak up and remove the top people. It doesn't happen when necessarily, losses mount up. The devs are going to get cut first. Everything is going to happen first. The lawsuits are what's going to take care of the people at the top. And I agree, there needs to be major changes. Okay. We had that discussion. Bobby Kotick needs to be gone. Okay. I agree wholeheartedly. So that's out of the way. Never forget what's going on there. But Diablo 2 Steel, Diablo 2 set the benchmark when it comes to the action RPG looter style top-down games. Diablo 2 was the one game that, again, I was not a PC player, but I spent weeks sleeping over at a buddy's house to play.
I remember that story.
2. Yeah. He got to the point where he was asking me for rent. This is the game that changed everything. It set the bar in so many ways. In a lot of ways, some games are still trying to catch up to it. Diablo 3 is fantastic, but Diablo 2 is the one that definitely changed this genre and made it what it is today. So Diablo 2 for me is the granddaddy. And so for me to be able to go back and experience it remastered, from what I've seen, it looks absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I didn't play any of the beta stuff, but I've got it pre-ordered. They've got 8-player co-op in this one. They've added a new class, the assassin class, to it. Cannot wait to jump back into Diablo 2. So this is going to be big for me. And I know a lot of people out there in the community are as well. So Diablo 2 comes out the 23rd. You got anything to add to this one there, Steel?
I just have to add on to the excitement for it. Honestly, I'm on the same line, but again, like you said, and we've said, we're always going to touch on those things with what's going on that side of the fence. And as long as we do that, I feel like that's the important part. As far as investing in the game, again, there's ways to fight things without affecting the wrong people, right? And I think one of those ways is just being mindful of what's going on. And I feel like me and Pong are doing that for y'all. With that being said, Diablo 2 was released on PC in 2000, and I was 8 years old when Diablo 2 came out. Diablo 2 is one of the most
you're that young? What?
Yeah. You already know. You
freaking baby.
Diablo 2 was so iconic for me. It kind of shaped what PC gaming was for me at that point. It shaped how I felt about games at that point. And to see it come back, to see it updated now, also be available on consoles, 8-player co-op, it has me excited in ways that I really can't explain. Now, the fact that it's coming out while there's like 3 different games that I'm trying to play right now is kind of my dilemma, because I like to pick a game and stick with it. Will Diablo be that game that I play over Tales of Arise? I don't know. Is it going to be something I play over Origami 2? I don't know. But it's just one of those things. I know I can get hundreds of hours out of this game possibly, though. That's what's the crazy part. I just think people should be excited for it. Again, speak with your wallets if you're, held high about it. It is what it is. But again, like Pong said, there are still good people behind the scenes on this. As many people may not like Rod Ferguson, I feel like his creative direction with Blizzard may be of a benefit to them. I feel like he didn't do bad with Gears 5, that being the last entry before he walked away. I feel like it was a good goodbye letter, at least to the series. I know a lot of people don't feel that way, but knowing his involvement with Blizzard and everything, and I have some faith that he might be maybe will be able to bring Blizzard back to a certain height, because again, back in the day, Blizzard was like it. You know what I mean? Like, it was hard to talk about games without Blizzard being involved, period. Especially with Warcraft and everything, that StarCraft and everything like that. And if it had a craft behind it, it was probably Blizzard at that point. You know what I mean?
It's a long way down from the top, Steel.
Yeah, and they've fallen far, but anything to get them back on track, this could be one of those steps, and hopefully it ends up being a good homage to the classic. So.
Yeah, they screwed up World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
From everything I'm hearing, again, never was a World of Warcraft player. Definitely had plenty of friends who were but just listening to the community right now, they have destroyed what they had going there. The mass exodus to Final Fantasy 14 is now well documented. So pretty incredible to watch this. Diablo is the one that could potentially save what's left. So they've got Diablo 4 coming up. We know that at some point here, probably next year is my belief that we'll have Diablo 4, but Diablo 2 could go a long ways to keeping at least some people around. But again, with the mounting legal problems and all the bad press, they're in a precarious position, both Activision and Blizzard. The Call of Duty press has not been good for Vanguard either, which we could talk about later too as well. It has not been pretty. So interesting things going on there. Again, respect everybody's decision. Either way you go, it's a discussion that we can have many, many times with no easy answer. Right. Some people are going to say flat out, yes, it is an easy answer. You don't buy a damn thing. I just feel it's much more gray than that for a lot of different reasons. But again, from our standpoint here, we are going to remind people, because you cannot forget, a lot of people have forgotten about Ubisoft's problems as well already. As we got, again, they had some major problems and all of a sudden people don't talk about it anymore. Right. So, I saw some people personally, I'll just talk from personal experience, but I saw some people personally, I made some comments. Archimedes had put out a post about Diablo 2. I made some comments in there. Somebody tried to come at me a little bit about it. I went on their timeline just to check them out, see who they were. Yeah. Guess what? I saw them promoting Ubisoft products. So, again,
like, what's the conversation really at that point?
Right. So again, like I said, no easy answer, gray area for me. I totally understand and respect everybody's opinion on it, though. I really do. I don't have an issue, and I get why people would vote with their wallets and not buy another thing. I do get that. So, but I am looking forward to Diablo 2.
Yeah, so. 100% understand. And I just wanted to make sure Bomber said was talking some facts in the chat and whatnot, talking about Ferguson. He was not being directly involved with Diablo 2 and everything. And and I get that, and I'm not saying that he is, but him still being involved with the team. Overall, if he's putting out Diablo 4, you have to think that he wants to make sure that Diablo 2 is at least going in the right direction, because it could set the precedence for that next game. It's kind of the same thing with Mass Effect, right? They released the Legendary Edition because they have Mass Effect 4 coming out. They've said that. So it's kind of like, if you want to start that hype train back up, you have to make sure that you're starting at a level plane. The same kind of feeling that I feel that the coalition may do maybe not a Marcus Phoenix collection as much as we may want them to do that, because they've already did Ultimate Edition for Gears 1. But I do see them either remastering either 2 or 3, completely remastering them before they put out the next Gears game, to at least give people some time, because I don't think there's going to be another Gears game for a while. They're gonna give that some real good time to bake, make sure it's everything that it needs to be, because let's face it, Gears is an iconic series and can definitely define the genre for third-person shooters again. So this is something to keep in mind, but that's neither here or there. Yeah, Diablo 2 is definitely exciting.
Absolutely, for sure. Let's take a look here. What do we got next? All right, so we got Ember coming out. Ember, this is an interesting title. I actually remember seeing this. Ember is coming out for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, and that releases on September 23rd. Curve Digital, again, another great actually publishers, Gonzo Games and Sideline Amusements. Curve Digital's in there, but Muse Games is the developer. Look, this game I've seen. It was out on Stadia and PC back last year, and then we saw it pop up again in I can't remember what show it was. It was early this year, I want to say. God, it might have been one of Xbox's first shows this year. But anyways, this looks like a cool little game, man. This is a firefighting game, but it's 1 to 4 players. It's a co-op multiplayer game, first person. But you can get your crew together and you guys can go fight fires. It's got a cartoony style, so if you're not into cartoony style games, you're not gonna like it, but it looks fun. It just looks like a good time. So Ember, EMBR is how they spell it, is coming out this week. So yeah, go check it out. September 23rd. This could be an interesting little title. I think it looks kind of cool. So I like these kind of crazy wacky games. So yeah.
Could be.
So that never know. And then we got MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries is finally coming to PlayStation. This came out for Xbox and is in Game Pass right now. Steel and I actually played a little bit of this. I was extremely hyped for it. Because I miss mech games. And to be real, after playing it for a bit, and Steel and I did put some co-op time into it. I put some single player time into it. It didn't hit. It didn't hit the way that I thought it was going to. It's something I can go back to, and it's something I definitely could play again. Steel, what did you think when we played it?
I feel like it definitely plays better, more than likely, on PC with mouse and keyboard. It wasn't bad with controller. I do feel you, though. It doesn't hit the same as they kind of used to. The mission and everything, the structure and everything is kind of convoluted. I don't really like it, the way that it's set up. It kind of feels punishing in some ways. And that's like, I don't mind games being punishing. I don't mind games being difficult, but in some ways it just doesn't feel... it doesn't feel natural, right? It just feels kind of all over the place. It's kind of how people feel about Warframe when they first jump into it. Like you get into it, you're like, okay, what the fuck am I supposed to be doing now?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of how MechWarrior makes you feel. I mean, yeah, if you sit down and play it single player, it's good and all, but for it not to have multiplayer either, I guess it's kind of what kills it for me, because I was really looking forward to that. I felt like I thought it was going to have it, but further research determined that they're only doing it on PC. They're not going to bring that to console, so that's unfortunate. At this point, it's kind of like I'm hoping for another MechWarrior Vengeance at this point. You know, something that's more catered to consoles, that can be on PC also, but that can also give you... the multiplayer side of it too. Something a mech game that can be more enjoyable than there was a mech game that was on Xbox that was in Game Pass for a long time.
Mech Assault?
No, Mech Assault is definitely one of them. Well, I wanted to be like Mech Assault, but there was another mech game that was in there. I can't think of the name of it. I played it for a bit, and it was actually not bad. It was a free-to-play game. It was in Game Pass. It wasn't bad at all.
You're talking about... Oh, dude, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I can't think of the name of the game. Maybe if it comes to us later, if you guys know what we're talking about, let us know.
It's on the tip of my tongue. It's here.
Armored Core, Gears of Prime. I am a sucker for Armored Core. If PlayStation said they're going to release a new Armored Core, okay, that can give me another reason to get a PlayStation. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, it's always the games that make me feel like I can be the conqueror of everybody in my giant mech. Actually, they did really well for multiplayer and everything in Armored Core, except it just wasn't balanced really well. You could tell they just didn't have a lot of support back then. But yeah, man, Armored Core would be awesome to come back. But yeah, man, it was all right. I saw somebody in the chat say, "Oh yeah, Geezer said it felt like an older game." I have to tend to agree with him. I just feel like they probably should have just kind of catered it more to maybe to the console genre, but maybe just bring MechWarrior Vengeance back. So
and I'm not taking, like I said, it's a game I could definitely jump back into. There's just so much to play right now, but it is a game I could
that too.
Yeah, I could jump back into it. I'm happy they brought it because, again, I just want to see everything, at least make the attempt when it can to come to console. Like I've been saying forever, strategy games and RTSs need to make that push into the console market, even if they are niche. And of course, mech games are going to be niche, especially hardcore sim style mech games where you got to really kind of dig in, and this one is borderline on that when you got to dig into the weaponry and make sure that you're kitted out right before you start a mission. My big thing was in the co-op, which was disappointing, is you can't bring your own mech to your
that is really off-putting. That's really off-putting. I'm not gonna lie.
That sucked. That's like big time. But yeah, no, it's finally coming to PlayStation. So maybe the PlayStation Nation will find some fun over there.
Thank you. Master Clown. Excellent. Hawking was a good game, actually. But it just needed more support.
Exactly.
I liked Steel Battalion more than I liked Chrome Hounds, by the way, with the whole controller setup and everything. My pops had it. I don't know how he bought that thing, but
I had a buddy who had it.
It was amazing.
I never owned it outright, but I had a buddy.
That thing was amazing.
So it was. You can't deny that.
Yeah.
That thing was crazy. It'll never come back again.
No, it won't. But it was amazing.
Hey, let's see what's up next. Oh, we got a great indie title. I actually played this during the ID at Xbox when they had all their demos come out. Sable. Been waiting on this one for a while.
I want to jump into this one too.
Yeah. The demo had some technical issues. I'm hoping they got them all ironed out. The performance, there was some hiccups in there. Let's just put it that way. But Sable, this is such a uniquely stylized game that I think that anybody that sees the pictures, if it just piques your interest in the slightest, go play this game. These guys who created Sable are fans of Star Wars. They based some of the speeder mechanics, the little cycle that you get to fly around in this game, based upon Star Wars. The worlds are based upon some Star Wars. It is absolutely to die for when you look. I
like the character design.
Yeah, the character design and, like and the environment design is it's so,
I'm interested.
Again, unique. I would have a screenshot of this. Literally, I would screenshot this, print it, and hang it up if I could. I would do that as artwork because some of this is so cool. So go check out Sable, please. It's developed by Shedworks, published by Raw Fury. Go check it out. Give it a chance. Again, look at it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Again, I'm that guy. I'm never going to tell anybody that you got to try everything. Right. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But if it at all tweaks your interest, please go try it out. It is a very cool game. It is a chill game. There is combat in it, but a lot of it is exploration and just driving across the sand on your bike to different locations is mesmerizing. It is just awesome to sit back.
I can't wait to check it out.
Move around. Yeah. So check out Sable, everybody. That comes out this week, which again is great. I've been waiting on this one for a while. So Death Stranding director's cut.
There you go. Everybody's favorite game.
Everybody waiting on this one. Actually, you know what? I will say this deal. Like Death Stranding, again, I'm a Kojima fan. I'm not a fanatic. I'm a fan. I like some of his stuff. Other stuff I can leave. Right. I like some of the Metal Gears. Other ones, whatever. But for me, Death Stranding never, graphics wise and environmental wise, yes, it did interest me, but the gameplay loop didn't interest me. And again, I know it's one of those ones that a lot of people say you have to get hands-on time with. You got to put hours in to get through it. And then all of a sudden it'll kind of open up and you'll feel differently about it. I get that. I do understand that. But when I had my PS4, I never really wanted to go out and buy Death Stranding. But with the director's cut, some of the added stuff that they put in there, like the cannons where you can launch stuff across the map and that kind of stuff. Yeah, if I get my PS5 and Death Stranding's director's cut is on sale somewhere, I may pick it up to give it a try at this point. But again, there's been a lot of discussion around the director's cuts and what they're doing over there. But Death Stranding, maybe it'll get a second life now on PS5. Did you ever touch it on PC or anything?
I don't care about Death Stranding. I really don't. It has no interest in me. I like Norman Reedus as an actor.
Yeah.
And I feel like he does the character well and everything from everything that I've seen from the game. But I have zero interest in it. People enjoy it. Awesome, dude. But I don't feel any particular way about it. Yeah.
All right. Moving on. We've got Dragon Ball Z and Steel. Is it Kakarot?
Kakarot.
Kakarot. Thank you. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Switch September 24th. Steel. Any thoughts on Dragon Ball Z since you are a Dragon Ball Z guy?
I am a Dragon Ball Z head. This game has been one that I've kind of been on the fence about just because
this was already out, right? Like on PlayStation and Xbox, right?
It's been out for a while. I think what they're doing is they're updating it for next gen consoles also. But it's coming to Switch now. But I think they are updating it. If it's not already updated, it may be naturally updated with 60 FPS and everything. But this is one of those games that I've been hesitating to jump back into just because how many times have I played the Dragon Ball Z story, man? Like it's like, dog, like all the times over the years that I've played this game, and I've enjoyed it every time. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, do I really want to play through it again?
Right.
Do it all again from this.
And this is like an RPG style game, right?
Yes, and it is like an RPG style, which is dope. I think it's really interesting and everything, but it's like, it's the same story, and then you're not even going as far as it's taking you forever again as Dragon Ball does. This is the one thing Bandai Namco can't get right. Every time that they make a Dragon Ball Z game, they just don't release all the content with it. They release the same stories over and over again and say, hey, well, this is all we got right now. And it's like, dog. But I don't know. I've been kind of on the fence about it. I may still get it just because I do want to see what a new wave Dragon Ball game plays like in that 3D space and everything. And I heard it was done really well. So now I feel like it's going to go on sale quite more often. And since it's on PC, I could probably get it for a good deal. So I don't know. I've been hesitating to jumping on it. Anybody played it? Let me know how you feeling about it, and if it's something worth jumping into as a Dragon Ball fan.
Perfect. Final game of the week, and this is kind of a big one. A lot of people are waiting on this. Actually, a couple things on this one. Lost Judgment is coming PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Lost Judgment is, obviously a Yakuza. Basically, it's just another story, different characters, all that kind of stuff. Plays a little different. It's got its own uniqueness to it. Again, all the Yakuzas are freaking unique. If you ever played them, they're, again, love that stuff. But Judgment actually took off and did very well. And shout out to Xbox Gold this weekend. Judgment, the original one, is free to play this weekend. So anybody who has been wanting to check out a Judgment game, go check it out. I've got it downloaded. I'm actually going to try it out too after Steel and I get done with Origami 2, because I do want to see how different it is from the Yakuza series. But a lot of people love the Judgment series. And Lost Judgment is the sequel, and that hits on the 24th. So definitely take a look at that one. Again, if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, but a lot of people, since Yakuza came to, obviously Game Pass, a lot of people fallen in love with Yakuza that never thought they would fall in love with Yakuza, which is, I'm happy to see. Again, Steel, you and I promote Eastern style games, 100%. And again, a lot of people missed on them or just never thought they would be interested in them. So that's another benefit of Game Pass. Again, a lot of people have found out that they like that style. I absolutely love the Yakuzas. Again, I pick them up and play them. I don't play them to completion. again, I just love them in general. I love the style. I love the direction, and Judgment's right up that same mold. So I can't wait to jump into this one and see how it is. And if I like Judgment, I'll probably wind up picking it up, and then I'll probably wind up picking up Lost Judgment as well. So look forward to that on the 24th, but that is the final game on the list for this week. So yeah, pretty good list this week, man. Pretty good list.
Nice list.
There's some good stuff in there. Yeah. All right, Steel. So we are now just about an hour in. We have, well, not quite 50 minutes because Steel didn't start live. So we had to start over again.
It's all good.
Just as a reminder. Just as a reminder.
That's what we're here for, right?
So where do you want to get into, Steel? You want to shout out some people in the chat?
Oh, yeah, we got to shout out to the people in the chat, man. All that, and we haven't shouted out the chat yet. Look, we've got Gears of Primer here, Beast Mode, Master Clown. He's shouting out some good indie mech games in there. Keep attention to that. Proven Pyromancer, what's going on? HR Bombers was in here. Fun Speculation is in the house. Who else we got in here? Boogeyman, he stopped in and said, Oogie Oogie. Back from the Dead, what's going on? Who else we got in here? HCK, always good to see you in here, my guy. Who else we got in here? I know I saw one of my favorite Stanley Francois in here earlier. Give a shout out to him. Who else we got in here? ATL stopping in, getting that shout out in. What's going on, my guy?
Marion's in the house. Lad, what's going on, brother?
The Marion, the Madman. What's going on, man? Good, always good to see you here, man. We had Dutch in here earlier, from what I can remember. Who else? We had Capper Grant, Fuzzy was in here, hanging out for a bit. If you're still here rocking with us, let us know, man. Hit us up in the chat. Say, yo, I'm still here, locked in, tuned in. If you can. If not, just keep listening however you're listening, man. Make sure that you're getting those good vibrations in those eardrums. Judezilla, what's going on? Mr. Kima, Cyber Gunter, my Suko, the man himself, General C, hosts an excellent podcast himself, an excellent show, more so himself. Definitely check that out. The General C is doing good content out there. Excellent content. Casket Repair, always good to see you, my guy. And Cyber Gunter, if I haven't shouted you out, man, what's going on? And Nix, Fat Boy Horror, what's going on, man?
K. Asante has jumped into the chat.
K. Asante,
great to see you, brother. Another great guy to go follow and check out his work that he's doing. Him and Everborn show is fantastic. Go check that out. So for
that's a fact. If y'all don't, man, there's some beautiful people we got here in the community, man. Some people who are really genuine. Some people that I can't wait to meet in real life, man. You know what I'm saying? If it's at one of these conferences or whatever the case might be, I think we should all get together one day, have a drink, get some food, and just really get to the games, man. I think that'll be bomb as hell.
HTK, brother Peter. I don't know if we got you, sir, but thank you for shouting out. Yeah, if you're liking what you're hearing, hit that like button.
Facts.
You know the business end of this. It's whatever. It is what it is, but it does help us immensely. And you guys do a fantastic job every week. Like legit, we're almost 1 for 1 with people that see us live, that hit that like button, man. We are very close to that, and that is awesome. Thank you all for that. So
yeah, 100%, man. I just again, like you said, it's the business side of it, but the more likes we get out there, the more attention we get to it, and the more interaction we have in chat, man. At one point, I do want one of these topics to really be driven by the chat. Get some DMs or whatever the case might be, and we'll put a list together, and whatever we see the most of, throw it into our topics, maybe even 2. It just depends on how things end up going, and maybe we'll do it on an off day or something. Who knows? There's just a lot of amazing things that we could do once the community gets involved, once we grow ourselves. There's a lot of much more amazing things that we want to do on the back end too. Continually grow the show.
Got that right, man. We're
gonna have things look better. You know what I'm saying? So
one day we're gonna become a professional podcast.
One day,
I told you in the background. One day.
I feel like we at least have the aesthetic. We at least have the aesthetic.
We've got our style, but one day we're gonna do more and more. That's for damn sure. So the Sly Crow's in the house. Sly Crow, good to see you as always, sir. ATL, shout out to you for starting Dragon Quest, brother. That's an awesome series too. And Bomber, you are right. One of these days we are gonna have a big old barbecue.
Facts.
One day we are gonna do that, brother, for sure.
Facts. I like the sound of that. Well, Pong, what you want to get into? What fire you want to get into first?
Let's go. We are in prime time here. We're an hour in. People have jumped into here, so let's get to the smoke. Let's get to Acquisition season 2021 coming straight to you from Redmond, Washington. That's right, the home of Microsoft.
Good old Microsoft.
Of course, Xbox. So, look, Steel, I'll kick off this topic, and then I'm gonna hit you up so that you can get your thoughts on this. Again, I've talked a lot about this. I'll give my thoughts too as well, obviously, for people who have not heard me on another show. But since I have not heard you, I will lead this topic. So, this week, for anybody living underneath a rock, and maybe not, real life, you don't hang out on Twitter like some of us do. Totally get it, man. It happens. So you may not be caught up on what's been going on, but this week we had 2 weeks ago, it started with Take-Two. About 2 weeks ago, it started with Take-Two. Big things. There was a word on the street that Xbox was gonna acquire Take-Two.
Okay.
And that kind of kicked off, and then it kind of died away. And then this week, it all started up again. But this week it included a whole lot more potential as far as different companies, different publishers that could be acquired. But the smoke got real thick this week. There was a different energy this week. And again, no breaking news here. Neither Steel nor I are insiders. We read tea leaves. We watch the same stuff that everybody else watches. We both understand that this could be nothing. This could be a complete nothing burger. This happens. This happens frequently, especially in this community. People get excited. One person, says something to another person in a DM, and it starts the telephone game. And by the time it gets to us, all of a sudden it's completely different from how it originally started, right? Things get taken out of context.
All the time.
There's so much. So again, none of us are claiming that we have, factually based information here. Okay. That's not the deal. So we just see things, hear things. And some tweets started going out from some prominent members in the community. Some things were said. And all of a sudden the energy picked up. More and more people started jumping in saying they were hearing things. And so what happened was we got this big, gigantic smoke cloud filled with acquisition rumors that Xbox is on the precipice. You like that word? Man,
yeah, I like that. You hit that one. You hit that one out the park. Go ahead.
Sleep
keep
deprivation.
You're spitting bars.
They are on the precipice of making a big, gigantic, we're talking bigger than ZeniMax move. Okay. And
keep that in mind.
That it could be happening very, very soon as next Monday. We could be hearing about it on Monday. A press release could go out. So again, everybody has their opinions on this stuff. If you don't like acquisition talk, I apologize. But this is the fun part. I love talking about the what ifs of this industry. That is one of the greatest things going. Again, where the industry is at right now is a pinnacle of the history, in its history. It is right now the golden age of gaming. And there is so much money. There are so many players involved in this industry right now. Acquisition talk is going to be around for the next few years at least. Once this consolidation period gets over with, it will go back to the way it used to be, and you won't hear much about it. But right now, it is a buyer's market and a seller's market. And why I say that is the sellers are going to get overpaid. But the buyers have more options than they've ever had before to acquire things. Okay. Because more people want to be sold right now than ever before. So again, that's where the smoke started coming from. We are at the year anniversary of ZeniMax coming up this week of the announcement. Again, could that be part of this fuel? Of course it could. Again, businesses don't make decisions on anniversary dates. Okay. That's not how this works. This would be a complete coincidence if something does get announced this week that it just so happens to be a year after ZeniMax. But at the same time, there was an energy, there was a different feel to this one. We heard rumors last year, right after ZeniMax, that there was another one lined up, that they had another deal. They were working on another deal as big, if not bigger than ZeniMax. So this just didn't come up out of the blue. This has been simmering for a while. So time frame wise, yes, this could happen. And again, neither Steel nor I are saying this absolutely could happen or this absolutely is going to happen. That's not what we're saying here. We're just going to talk about this. So Steel, some of the names thrown out there this week. Take-Two, obviously, as we talked about, has been there. But we've got Ubisoft. We've got what else we got here? We got the Embracer Group has been thrown out there. WB Games obviously is a big one because we know for a fact they were talking to WB Games last year into early this year before WB Games decided that they would just rather not sell at the moment for whatever reason, and they kind of restructured everything and it's a mess over there. So WB Games came back into play. And why we're talking big ones for people who don't understand, there's a lot of small ones out there. Okay. There's the Asobos, there's the Avalanches, there's the IOs, there's all these smaller studios. Personal belief, and from the word on the street, not this word, but from just general people who have knowledge of what goes on inside Xbox, the feeling is that they're not looking, they're going to always be looking for smaller teams, but right now their focus is on bigger publishers because Matt Booty's plate is full. They want to buy companies that can run themselves, that have a great history, a track record of running themselves. And that's what they're focused on right now. The smaller stuff could still happen, but we're focused on the big stuff. There was also a couple tweets out there from people who were hearing things that the word monopoly would start to get thrown around, which means it's got to be huge. Okay. It's got to be huge. If there's any truth to any of this. So Steel, from the stuff that we heard, from the names being thrown out there, just want to get your thoughts on it. Again, head into speculation town, brother. We're here. We're here. I'm co-mayor along with Mr. Boomstick of Speculation Town. So I'm going to allow this tour to happen. Okay. So you come on through, take it where you want to take it. If you want to break down some individual companies and what you think would be good fits and why, if you want to just talk about what your overall feel, you roll with it, brother. I don't care. I just want to hear your thoughts on this because I really have not been able to talk to you. We had some DMs going back and forth, but haven't really gotten down to the nitty gritty with you. So go ahead. Where do you want to go with this? You shoot.
For me, this whole acquisition season talk has been really interesting. I want to address the pettiness of it, right? First, I'm gonna address that first, just because you gotta leave with some smoke sometimes. For anybody who's not interested in it, look, you can leave now. It's one of those things, this whole acquisition season, I know people are tired of hearing about it and this, that, and the other thing, cool. But guess what? It's part of the industry, man. And these conversations aren't going to stop. Like me and Pong were kind of talking about in the background before the show started. Satya Nadella said from Microsoft that they're not done investing. So if you're tired of it, I think you're paying attention to the wrong industry. Sorry, I don't know what else to tell you. If you don't want to hear it from the people that you care about hearing it from, I can't do anything for you as far as that goes. But this is part of the gaming industry. It is the #1 form of entertainment around the world. Something like this happening we're entering the age of accessibility, the age of greatness on either side, no matter what platform you're representing or no game or what game you're interested in, what types of game you're playing. And more things are happening in gaming, more moves have been happening in gaming than ever before, and somehow people are finding a reason to be mad about it. I never understand that, Smoke. You can't argue with me about that. You just have to look at it from the outside. Nobody's trying to sit here and say, oh, we need to be the armchair CEO or whatever the case. No. But at the same time, for this to be our passion, what's the point of having a show? We can't have these conversations, the possibilities of what could happen. And for people to it's like it gets to a conversation and then people hear Monopoly and then they just turn their brains off. And it's like, okay, so y'all aren't paying attention. And that's okay, but admit that you're not paying attention. You know what I mean? At least that's my thing for it. Yeah. Because if you were paying attention, you say, okay, well, there's too much going on. There's too many teams, too many studios, too many devs for gaming to be monopolized, even if Microsoft decided to go with a company like Embracer Group, who has 77 internal studios as of 2021.
Almost 300 IP.
That is insane. And that's still wouldn't be cornering the market. No. Yes, Microsoft would have a lot under their belt. And also, I feel like, because I heard Kay Asante talking about it, and I've heard you talking about it too. Mm-hmm. Embracer Group is one of those that I feel like is probably on the higher list of the chain if they are interested in it. So this leads into us talking about the whole studio and acquisition talk, since that is a conversation now again. If what the rumors are true and everything that we're hearing is true, that deals have been signed, or we're going to hear something about that on Monday, we'll see. If it doesn't happen, we'll see. But I guess, not even I guess, but it's still interesting to think about the fact that if there's something happening behind the scenes, that Embracer Group is definitely one of the ones that are at top of the totem pole for me. Reason being is because of them having 77 internal studios. There is so much talent that they have within that they could, Microsoft kind of being hands off, they could have some of those people go certain places, because not everybody is working on something. Now, they could be very well, but I can guarantee you not everybody's working on something. There's teams that could get moved around. There's plenty of people within that could be put on so many different projects, put on other teams, flush out other sections of the gaming space that are also bringing in their own IPs potentially, and flush out Game Pass. That would be the whole point of that. Right? Within the next 3 years, having things in Game Pass that you really can't deny. It's literally like Disney Plus. At this point, if you're a Marvel fan, you're into Disney movies, you like those genres and everything, you like Star Wars, you have to have Disney Plus. You can't refute it. Sure, there's ways to get around it, but we're talking about doing things the legal way. Disney Plus is kind of a necessity at this point. And there's a reason why they're already over 100 million subscribers, right? There's a reason for that. They have the IP to back it up. For me, though, I feel like just because of the superhero talk and everything that has been happening recently, just to go into like my second pick, because I want to kind of break this down on kind of my top 3, really, when we come to this conversation. The next one that I would throw in there is definitely going to be WB Games. And I say WB Games mainly because that answers the superhero problem, that answers the family-friendly problem, that answers having consistent games coming in there. You answer almost every question that you need as far as Game Pass is concerned. It's handled. So we're talking things like WBS, the Batman series, Fear series, Injustice, Lego, Lord of the Rings. Like, dude, they have Avalanche, Monolith, NetherRealm, Portkey, Rocksteady, TT Games, WB Games, that's everywhere. Boston, Montreal, New York, San Diego. You see how much is under their belt already that can already run themselves, that just need funding? That's all they would need. They already have the creative direction. They're already in the process of making games. Obviously, they're hands off enough. And honestly, like I keep bringing this whole AT&T thing up again, but don't they have to talk to Discovery now too? And who says Discovery's not trying to let those things go immediately? Discovery's not interested in any of this. They are interested in selling, though. I can guarantee that. And I feel what you're saying, Bomber. Remember, WB doesn't include certain IPs. That doesn't mean they couldn't cut a deal to get certain IPs, though. I think Microsoft would be willing to spend almost 30 to 40 billion for WB Games just to get everything and the IPs. Yeah. I think so.
Just if it was like some kind of crazy.
Yeah, if it included everything, if you got like Batman guaranteed. Yeah. Batman's guaranteed. DC is guaranteed. You can make games however you want. NetherRealm is guaranteed. Monolith, all these studios that they have under you is guaranteeing the IP that they're working on. Yeah, why wouldn't they? And would it be a big play? At least that's my perspective on it. I just feel like it just seems so logical to me, right? Because again, Microsoft is looking at, and they've said this also, they want these companies that they can allow to run themselves, because again, like everybody constantly says, Matt Booty himself has too much going on his plate to run everything else. So why not bring in people that already have their own functioning system going on and just kind of be the person behind the scenes, right? It's one of those things. And the other benefit to it is AT&T would help AT&T get out of debt, or like that would pay everything for them, right? At that point, it would help Discovery get that off of their shoulder. So it's just, It just really depends. The last one that I would probably throw that into that conversation, of course, would be the whole Take-Two thing. But honestly, the only reason it's like number 3 for me is because I just don't think that Microsoft is in the business of playing this up and down game. And Take-Two doesn't release games consistently enough for it to really matter. I don't think so. GTA is great and all, but GTA is going to stay multi-plat regardless. It doesn't like, even if Xbox bought GTA, like this thought process that it's going to be exclusive to a single platform, come on guys, that's not happening. GTA 5 online is making way too much money for them to be like, yeah, we're going to make it exclusive now.
Yeah.
No, that's not happening.
No. It's just like Elder Scrolls Online. It's just like,
exactly.
It's not just like Minecraft. It would stay multi.
It's not happening. So it's kind of like, at that point, why buy the cow when the milk is going to be at a good price anyway, right? Like, just let it keep doing what it's doing over there. And Ubisoft, I kind of feel the same way, right? Ubisoft has kind of worked themselves out of the point where, we were down on them, not with certain franchises. Yeah, they're like, Tom Clancy's in the trash can right now. Like, they're at the point of making Aliens with him, and that's cool and all. I see what y'all are doing. But it's Rainbow Six Siege with a skin on it, to be completely honest. And that's, if you're into that, cool, but that's not something that's different. They're sticking with what they got. Assassin's Creed is doing all right. They're still trying to figure out how they're going to progress that forward. And, from what we've heard in the background of that, people are kind of back and forth on like almost 50-50 of more, 40-60 on that. You know what I mean? Not everybody's agreeing in the boardrooms and everything as far as that goes on that direction. It's just, there's so many different things that are going on. And Ubisoft is kind of in that space where it's like, it's the same thing. Why buy the cow? I mean, it'd be good. Like, you play is cool and all. You get those games that come in day and date, and that's great. But you need to put out another good Ghost Recon game. Breakpoint is cool and all, but the game's been out for a while now. Like, really, what's your next game? And so far, they've kind of been on a decline as far as that goes. So that's why, like, I think the most reasonable ones is Embracer Group and WB Games, just because of the amount of not only the potential, but the benefits that come from it. On the back end, more than anything, you get dev talent, you get guaranteed IP, you get your money's worth, honestly, right? You want to get that bang for your dollar. They're not going to spend this money and just be like, whatever, we'll spend it just to spend it. No, they want to make sure they're getting their cash for the dollar. And sure, they can fit these other little studios in there too, like people were saying, the IOIs and everybody else, but it's like, those are like little acquisitions, and we're at the point where it's coming like a big acquisition, right? We're looking at Microsoft saying, hey, we got X amount of dollars on hand. I believe when I looked it up not that long ago, it was about on June 30th of 2021, they were recorded to have about 130 billion on hand. They got money to spend, and it's one of those things to where if they don't spend it, they have to get it taxed on, and that's not what they're trying to do if you know a little bit about business and everything. So they're definitely in the business of looking to spend a little bit more money, and it's going to be some interesting things happening, man. I feel like if Take-Two happens, it's going to shake the earth, but it's not as monumental as, I don't think it's not as monumental as like a ZeniMax deal, because at the same time, Bethesda, I feel like, has bigger IPs names wise than Take-Two is. What, you just have GTA, you can't go from there.
Red Dead.
Sure, I mean, yeah, but that I still consider like that. That's like the same game to me. No, except it's a Western.
I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like that's what you have over there. Like, so you already have that. There's other third-person games that I feel like are at least, that's going to always thrive on its own. And I just, again, just going back to that whole cow analogy, it's just not necessarily worth it at that point, whereas Embracer and WB Games would be. I mean, WB Games has a market cap of, 11.5. So if Microsoft spent double, you could possibly see 25, 30 billion getting spent on WB Games, 40 billion, like I said earlier, if they wanted to cover everything to make sure that they could buy that cow again, using that analogy, instead of just the franchise that buy the whole business out. It could be. I think that's a logical thing to do. Again, it's IP, family friendly, and you get heroes with it.
All of a sudden, ZeniMax was a steal.
Yeah, all of a sudden, ZeniMax is a steal. Exactly. And then, boom, right there again, you have now set the precedence in gaming again, letting the people know how much more serious you are within the scene, letting people, again, how many more times do they have to come out and reiterate, hey, well, we're taking this serious. Like, how much more money they got to spend for you? You have people around the corner who aren't doing that same thing, aren't investing as heavily, and aren't also trying to bring it to everybody. And that's what's crazy about this whole process, because regardless of who it is, it's going to be for more people than it's ever been for before. It's not going to be locked to just one or two platforms. It's 4 platforms. You know what I mean? And you can't necessarily be salty about that, at least in my perspective. And I feel like it's a great thing no matter what they end up doing. So
yeah, no, I mean, I agree with all your points, Steel, for the most part. I have a few different thoughts, but look, okay, I'll start here, and then we'll go forward. So when we're talking about this stuff, I think it's important. Steel and I always talk about taking a step back from whatever bubble it is, whether it's your self bubble, whether it's your community bubble, whatever the case. You got to take a step back. Okay, you got to try to put yourself into Phil's shoes, into Satya's shoes, into Microsoft's shoes, whatever it may be. You got to try to pull yourself away from the normal thoughts that you may have, like as just a gamer, right? You've got to start thinking big business, and you got to start looking at what they have told you.
Right.
Satya and Phil have told you they're looking not this year, not next year. Yeah, that's all part of it. But they're not just looking, they're looking 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30, 40 years down the road. They've told you that they're going after 2 billion to 3 billion people. People still to this day roll their eyes and laugh. When somebody like a Satya Nadella or a Phil comes out and tells you that's what they're doing, they mean it. That's not a joke. That's 100%. That's on a board somewhere. That's on a board. How do we get to 3 billion gamers? How do we get to that number? That is a strategy. Okay. Facts. They're not joking around. So when you take that approach, this stuff right here may seem very big, but it's not at the end, right? For the end game, it's not. For the end game, there is going to be at least one more big publisher purchase, probably 2 big publisher purchases, maybe more, maybe, again, smaller purchases in between. Right. This is something that they have to do, because if you want to reach that market, if you want to reach those people, yes, you have the vehicle now in Game Pass, right? Game Pass. And once they get the apps out there, it's going to be able to play pretty much anywhere, right at that point. Right. So if you get that, gain that accessibility, and yes, there's still tech concerns out there as far as internet. It's all going to depend on all that. xCloud is so dependent upon, your internet capabilities and where you're at in the world. But the world as we know it is working on those, second, all the smaller countries out there eventually will catch up. It's just a matter of time. Again, we're not talking necessarily 5 years from now, but they're looking at 10, 15, 20 years. They want to insulate themselves. They want to have enough teams. They want to have enough content. They have to have the diversity of content. And yes, they have a great start to that, but they need to constantly update and have diversity of content and just sheer volume of content to keep up with that number. If they hit those numbers, they need to make sure those people remain entertained. They need to make sure that all of those people remain invested in their ecosystem, or it's all for nothing. So when we start talking about these gigantic deals, it is because they want to insulate themselves. They cannot, as somebody going after that big of a market, be dependent upon third parties to provide content. We've seen how that works. Sometimes it's a success, sometimes it doesn't work out, and it's a spectacular failure. Okay, we've seen it go both ways. So you want to insulate yourself. Netflix, right? They started out by just cutting deals. Guess what? They now have their own studios. Why? Because they cannot be dependent upon third-party deals to always be producing content for them. They need to be in control of their own ship. They need to have that, that steering wheel, that rudder in their own hands. So they are dictating where they're going, and they're not allowing outside forces to dictate where they're going. Right. So this is what Microsoft's end game is they need to have that point where they can look over the entire gaming industry and look upon themselves and say, we never have to cut another deal again unless we really want to. We never have to go to another outside source to buy up a piece of content because we're missing something. That's where their end game is. And crazy as it sounds, we already know that Xbox is now one of the pillars within Microsoft. At the end of the day, where this is going is that Xbox and the gaming division could be the largest pillar underneath Microsoft Corp. That would be absolutely crazy. Think about what Microsoft has with Windows and all that kind of stuff. Xbox could wind up being the biggest pillar for that corporation.
You know what's crazy about that? The thought about that, Pong, is that the fact that finally Xbox would be what PlayStation is to Sony.
Correct.
Correct. Can you just like listen to that perspective?
I know.
Xbox will finally be what PlayStation is to Sony.
Yep,
that's crazy.
Exactly. That's crazy. Except you also got
big
gigantic pillars next to that that actually support the company.
Much bigger,
but not like Sony. Not like Sony where PlayStation goes down, Sony's pretty much dead.
It's like they built an extra support beam just because, and that's Xbox.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct. Exactly. So when we're talking about this stuff, this is where you have to look, and why people, again, it's not if, it's a when. Okay, they've told you what they're going to do. So unless something dramatically changes and all of a sudden, the gaming industry blows up as a whole and it's dead, this is where Microsoft is going. And again, I continue to say Microsoft because the corporation itself is now Xbox
behind it.
Now,
it's not just Xbox anymore.
Right. Xbox is now at the big boys table. Phil is at the big boys and girls table within Microsoft Corp. So therefore, it is now Microsoft behind this all, driving it forward with the war chest. So here we go. Let's break down some of this. Embracer Group. I am a huge Embracer Group fan. They are the kings of AA. I love AA games. We might get into THQ Nordic, which is a part of Embracer Group. Might get into their showcase that was showed yesterday. I love those games still. I'm not a guy who turns his nose up at something under AAA. I love AA games. Okay? I will pick up the middling games that people hate and absolutely love the hell out of them. Right. I'm that guy. So Embracer Group, 300 IPs, some of the most classic IPs in the history of video games that have been dead for a long time are being revitalized under Embracer Group. I love Embracer Group. What they are doing is collecting not only studios, but IPs that they know are beloved. They may not be the biggest IPs, but they know they have a beloved, they have a group of people who absolutely love them. And they've got this diverse group of IPs, right? And they can pump out these games. Because they're not AAA. So they don't take this big of investment.
2-3 years,
from time, money. They can pump out these games 2-3 years as long as they have the studios. That's why they've gone out and acquired whatever it is, 70 studios at this point or whatever.
Yeah, facts.
Right. So that's what they are doing. I love Embracer Group. This would be gigantic from a content standpoint. You will have nonstop content. You would literally at one point between what they already have and what they would bring in with Embracer Group, you literally get to a point where you'd almost have a AA or AAA coming out every single month. You literally could get to that point. It would be absolutely crazy. In the Game Pass, day and date, your content would be unparalleled at that point, right? You would just be rocking and rolling. They have mobile divisions. They have everything covered. So I love Embracer Group. I think that would be a great purchase. It's probably towards the bottom of probability. From where I stay. I think Embracer Group is so strong. They've got, Cook Media. They've got a lot of different divisions within there.
Yeah, sure.
And I think they're very strong in where they're going. And I think they've positioned themselves so that all the major players can come to them and say, hey, we need this game. Hey, we need this game. Hey, we need this game.
That's true. But at the same time, for that money they're worth that 40 billion price tag.
Yep.
They still
exactly. And it might not even take that for
it might not.
It might not take that. But I think it would be a great move.
Yeah.
I just think it's the lowest. It's one of the lowest ones.
I like that. It's interesting. I like that.
but I love embracing groups. So WB Games, absolutely. I think this is probably the safest bet out of the group that we are talking about. Again, there could be dark horses out there. Again, we're just looking at this from the perspective using the term monopoly that was thrown around and people were talking about how other people would be yelling monopoly if it happened. Not realistically, because again, anybody who would shout that doesn't understand what that means. Paying attention. You're not paying attention. You don't get the definition, none of it, right? The legalities behind that. So, but we're just talking about the things that would make people scream that. The companies we can look at, and there's only really a handful of them. WB Games, like you were talking about, Steel. WB Games by itself would not be. WB Games by itself I would not put in this category. However, as you just talked about, WB Games with all of the IP licensing for any future game related content. And we're talking all of it. We're talking Matrix. We're talking Harry Potter. We're talking Lord of the Rings. We're talking entire DC catalog. We're talking all of WB Games. 100%. You lock that down to some incredible out of this world deal, like let's say a 25-year deal for that IP, right? And you'd want to do that. Like if you're making this purchase, you want that. You want control over that IP. You don't want at any point, WB coming back and saying, we want this stuff to go to multi-plat. Yeah, we want this stuff to go to somewhere else. You don't want that at all. So you make an incredible deal, whether it's lifetime, whether it's 15 years, whether it's 25 years. You make some crazy deal where you are in control of all of those IPs from here on out for any game related content. Now you push WB up into that area, right? Because people would be clamoring, right? People would be yelling. There's also the thought that's been thrown out there.
Is this for the next one?
Yeah, that if Microsoft has made a sizable shift in their mindset internally, if they are going to see Game Pass as a content platform, not just gaming platform, but content platform.
I think so.
Because we see what Netflix and Sony have cut a deal. We may see something there. If they have finally made that decision, again, this would be outside the norm for where Microsoft is at, because this is not their wheelhouse.
Not currently, no.
Not currently. And they don't usually like to do this stuff because it doesn't usually go very well. Let's be honest. But let's say they had a cultural shift in there, a mindset shift within between Satya and Phil, and they said, look, we can no longer just look at gaming. We're going to look at this as an entire entertainment ecosystem. Then you walk in, you buy up all of WB. You buy up everything. You buy up the movie studios. You buy up the TV. You buy up all of it.
Yep.
And you bring it underneath the Microsoft umbrella. And again, that would be a Microsoft purchase because a lot of that stuff would not be Xbox included. But you do that, you now have a media company within Microsoft. You have a company that's producing TV. You have a company that's producing movies. You have control of all those IPs for life, forever. That is a gigantic purchase. And that would be a gigantic move. Again, I don't know if I think Microsoft's ready to do that or that they'd be wanting to do that, but you never know behind the scenes where they're at. Again, to reach 2 billion, 3 billion people, the more content you can offer, and that includes movies and TV, the better value your service looks, right? You get that people looking at that. Wait a minute. So I get Game Pass and I get all these games.
Can't deny
and
it.
I get WB
Can't deny
movies and TV. I get all of that. Yeah, it gets to the
probably be $20 a month, but you can't deny it.
It's gonna go up if that happens for sure. And again, I'd be willing to pay it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with WB. WB, I think, is the most realistic because the talks were already happening. The groundwork has been laid. People do forget Matt Booty
has
used to work
inside
for WB.
Yes.
Intimate knowledge with those people.
Yes.
With almost every single one of those studios, Matt Booty has intimate knowledge. He used to run WB Games. You can't underestimate that. That is an inside track. That is something that, again, so when they have confidence because they know who they're dealing with over there, Matt Booty can attest to who the people are over there and how they're run. And that, again, for Phil and Satya is going to give a level of confidence to go overpay for something.
Right.
That's going to increase the likelihood of that just from that intimate knowledge.
Yeah.
So again, that's huge. WB would be fantastic. Let's move to Ubisoft.
Okay.
Ubisoft would be ridiculous, dude. Ubisoft, 19,000 employees. Steel, 19,000 employees.
Yeah.
40,
good point.
40 studios.
Good point.
Not teams, studios.
Yeah, good point.
40 studios. Okay, this would be a power play. This is a bully move. This is big bank take little bank right here. Okay, this is taking some of the most iconic franchises. Again, we can have the discussion where each one of those franchises is right now.
Right.
We already know Ubisoft is lost. They have lost their way. They don't know how to navigate the industry and the changes that have happened. They are floundering right now. They think that they have to monetize every single game, kind of like EA a while back. EA's kind of turned the ship a little bit, not everywhere, but they've turned the ship a little bit. They've been shown the way by Mr. Zampella that single player games can still be incredibly profitable for your company.
They can.
And you don't have to monetize them. You can still be extremely successful. So Ubisoft right now is the other direction. They now believe, from what we're seeing, again, who knows internally, none of us are privy to those conversations, but at the end of the day, from what we're seeing, they feel like they have to monetize everything, turn everything to a games of service.
Yes.
They have bastardized the Tom Clancy name.
Yes.
We all know this. This is not anything new for anybody who's been in this industry. However, they do still have some of the most iconic game franchises in the history of gaming when you're talking about an Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
Okay, when you are talking about a Rainbow Siege,
100%.
when you are talking about these games, that is special. I didn't even say Splinter Cell, but we all know it's sitting there.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Again, you bring in 19,000 employees, 40 studios. So let's just guesstimate those studios. Some of those studios are going to have multiple teams. So let's say you're bringing in 60. Let's say you're bringing in 60 teams.
Mm-hmm.
You now are at a point. You are now at somewhere in the neighborhood of 95 teams. Okay, underneath your umbrella, brother. Just like the Embracer Group, this is content heaven. This is where you get to that point where you can stop worrying about a lot of things on the outside.
Plenty of funding.
Because you have, and again, we know the games right now may not be going the way they want to, but the talent is undeniable, right? The talent is undeniable. You bring in tech, and I didn't even talk about this WB, right? When you get the Nemesis system, you get their engines,
that's guaranteed.
Get all that stuff.
Yeah.
Ubisoft, you get the AC engine, which is no slouch.
No, it's not.
It looks good.
It
looks good on console. And we saw what it can do on next gen, and that was cross gen. So AC engine, you get the Snowdrop engine. Ooh. One of the most beautiful looking engines out there.
Splinter Cell and the Snowdrop.
Oh, brother. But you get all this talent brought in, and again, the games. So what you can do here now, we know that Xbox has said they're hands off. Anybody they buy is going to be allowed to do their business the way they do their business.
Yeah,
we've seen that, right? I think this is the one time. You pick up Ubisoft, you actually walk in and say, "Look, guys, gals, hey, we know you've been told that you got to make these games as a service style.
Right?
You got to monetize it. Look." Assassin's Creed people, guess what? We know you want to go back to making the old style Assassin's Creed. Guess what? You go do that. Go make your old school Assassin's Creed style games. Go back to that. Guess what? Today we are greenlighting Splinter Cell. Go make that Splinter Cell game the way it used to be, updated, obviously, but go get us that Splinter Cell game. I think you walk in there and you tell everybody, you want to make the games the way you guys used to make the games, games that everybody loved to death. Go ahead and go do that. You don't have any more worries. You're now underneath Xbox. Microsoft has got a big old umbrella over you. Whatever you need, we got you. Just go make those games that everybody fell in love with. And I think this is the one time where you step in and say, we're not going to continue business as usual here. We're actually going to go back the old ways. You revitalize the Tom Clancy series.
Right.
You bring back the Splinter Cells of the world.
Right.
You get AC back to its roots, to where they want to take it, right? And I think that would be huge. My God. Again, Ubisoft would be gigantic. Now, again, probability wise, it just depends where the Guillermo family is.
Okay.
Where Yves is. They fought off a hostile takeover, but if they are as lost as they look, if they can't figure things out, they're still successful. By no stretch of the imagination is this a dying company. They're still successful, but maybe the family's looking around and saying, you know what, it's time. And if we get a big enough offer, we're gonna let go. Right, we're gonna let go. We've kind of, we're kind of tired of the whole industry. They've got, again, we spoke about it. I spoke about it earlier when we were talking about Activision Blizzard. Ubisoft still has some stuff hanging over their heads too. Again, which would be on Microsoft. They would have to be willing to take that on. There is still accusations out there against Ubisoft that aren't pretty.
I think that would help them though, honestly, because then Microsoft could kind of work at the top, and
depending on how much cleanup has to be done internally, because there's still some word out there from people that not enough has been done internally.
And I imagine, a lot of issues. But if Microsoft acquired them, I think that they would put that work, and they would guarantee that is not going to continue to. And that's why I kind of didn't really bring them up, or why I kind of put them out of the picture, is because of that, and then because of the additional work that Microsoft would have to do in order to make sure that the image, because let's face it, Microsoft doesn't need any more negative publicity. It's the same reason why we really don't. Microsoft doesn't need that monopoly talk either, because that's what they're known for. So it's like, let's not. We're not trying to go back in that direction. We're trying to stay from that direction and do everything to prevent it, make sure we're going in the right direction with this new idea and everything. Because that's when one of Xbox's biggest flaws is the inconsistency in their messaging. Like, you're ahead of the curve, but the way that you're saying it is trash.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
But my fault. Go ahead.
No. I don't mind you jumping in ever. So Ubisoft, I think, is good. It would be great. It would be fantastic. I think it would be one of the big. It would be a bomb. It would be a bomb. Because you imagine look, Steel. Think about this. How long did we? And we still have it, but it's a lot less. How long did we talk about? How many times did we talk about what was going to be exclusive from ZeniMax? Can you imagine the talk the minute you announce an Ubisoft deal?
Oh, it's nothing but talk.
It's nothing but talk about every single game coming out of Ubisoft, whether or not it was going to be exclusive. The talk would be unreal.
And what's crazy is that in that situation, every one of those games could be exclusive.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't have to be multi-plat.
Nope, they don't have to.
That's what's crazy. And the fact, and that's the other thing that I like, that I feel like it's a good topic. We don't have to talk about it right now, but I feel like it's definitely something good to touch on, because they could make that exclusive for the very same reason. Well, now I'm not going to say for the same reason, because of how most of their games are set up. And this conversation of what's exclusive to one side versus what's exclusive to the other sides is completely different from each other. And I feel like that's always a good point to bring up, and something else that really people don't really pay attention to, because just because something's exclusive to Microsoft or Xbox, it's technically exclusive to cloud, PC, console. You know what I mean? Like, you got multiple points of entry at that point.
Exactly.
Whereas on the other side, it's kind of a little bit different. So it's an interesting conversation, and I don't want to lead that down the rabbit hole that can go down. But
it is. It's true. It's a different style. It's a different setup. And people got to wrap their heads around that. It's not the same when we use that word between the companies. Right? It's not the same at all. Ubisoft. I'll just wrap it up with this. Ubisoft, I think, has potential, because we heard for a long time that Uplay was coming into Game Pass, right? And that was almost a lock. That's from people in the know. That was almost a lock. People are guaranteed by the end of this year, Uplay was going to come in, just like EA did.
Why buy the cow?
To Game Pass, right? Exactly. And there was a lot of smoke. I know there's smoke every year about Splinter Cell. There was more smoke than usual this year about Splinter Cell. And there was some people in the know, again, that were convinced we were going to see Splinter Cell on the E3 stage.
Xbox. We've got some behind the scenes.
Right. So and out, public facing. Rand talked about it. Rand thought that there was going to be.
He did. He was convinced.
So when you hear that stuff and all of a sudden that stuff kind of dies off, there could be potentially a bigger deal in play, which could be an acquisition, or acquisition was the talk, and those things came out of it, but the deal took a little bit longer than we thought it would to get done, which would make sense. Again, when you're buying an Ubisoft or when you're buying any of these companies, this is not a small deal. This is, I can't imagine the paperwork that goes in. I can't imagine the attorneys.
It's probably,
I can't imagine what this is like to complete a deal like this.
Oh God.
So who knows? Maybe it went all quiet. Maybe it didn't happen because this deal was not ready to be announced yet. And again, if this were to happen, we could still get UB Plus into Game Pass, because business runs as usual during an acquisition. It would go through a period just like ZeniMax did, where it'd have to be approved. Microsoft can cut a deal, Xbox can cut a deal with Ubisoft, basically cutting a deal with themselves at that point to get Uplay or Ubisoft Plus, whatever it's called now, into Game Pass. So those deals could still happen, right? So this would be a huge giant get. The content alone that's already out there, to drop that entire catalog into Game Pass, my God. My God, you're talking about so much
insanity.
Right. And there's other IP that they're sitting on that we're not even talking about, that's been sitting there for a long time that you could revitalize.
Rayman,
all that kind of stuff. Skull and Bones is sitting there floundering because they don't know what to do with it. You could get that finished. All this stuff. Ubisoft would be incredible value. Ubisoft would instantly grab people's attentions if you announce that. So Ubisoft, I definitely think, is something that has a lot of potential. Take Two.
Oh, okay. You're going to put that in the conversation too. Okay.
Yeah, Take Two. Here's my deal.
I'm surprised you haven't said this other one that y'all ended up talking about. Go ahead though. My fault.
Oh, we will. Take Two. I'll say this quickly on Take Two. Business wise, it makes sense. I think Satya could convince the board and the investors it was a good purchase. It would be an outrageous price. It would be an incredible price. But like you said, there are some ups and downs, but they've been pretty consistent from a profit standpoint. And yes, you could see that starting to fall just because everybody's sick and tired of Grand Theft Auto and 5, and they've milked it.
Obviously not really.
Not really, but you could see a time frame where it does eventually dry up, and they have to start thinking about the future, right? Take Two does include a lot more than just Rockstar. Grand Theft Auto is an easy one to point out, but your NBA 2Ks, that would stay multi-plat. There was no way. There's got to be an agreement. I bet you there's an agreement, just like we saw the MLB roll into Sony and say, guess what? Time to go multi-plat. You guys got to do it or you lose the license. I'm sure the NBA already has that in place with NBA 2K. So you keep the 2K, those games multi-plat. The 2K division is a great publisher. They publish a lot of different games, right? You'd get Firaxis, which is fantastic. The XCOM guys, the Midnight Suns guys, Firaxis. Again, I'm a big fan, obviously. You'd get those guys as well, which would be great. My problem with Take Two, business-wise, I think it makes sense. Business-wise, you would get return on your investment eventually, no matter what, at the end of the day. Would you have the guts to make Grand Theft Auto 6 exclusive? Not talking about online. Online is, I think we can say now, online is always going to be separate. Would you have the guts to make GTA 6?
No.
Me personally, I would. But would you do that? And that's the internal discussion you have to have, because if you're not,
I don't think they are.
And if you weren't going to do that, then what are you buying? Okay. If you're not doing that, yes, there's still value in saying you can get GTA 6 in Game Pass day and date for, free. There's still value, but is that enough value? No. So if you're not going to be cutthroat and you're not going to say, look, Grand Theft Auto fans, 150 million of you, anybody who's not on Xbox, you're going to have to come over here and play with us. Are you honestly going to do that to that community? I mean, again, it's a play and I can see it. I just don't think there's enough content from Take Two as a whole on a regular basis to be of value to Game Pass. When you are waiting on the biggest of those games every 5, 6, 7, 8 years, that's not the pace you want from a company that you're going to go acquire. That's a pace of a company you go cut deals with, like Sony cuts deals with, right? That's what you do there. So from personal standpoint, Take Two does not make sense to me. The petty side of me to watch the internet burn down.
That would be insane.
The petty side of me that just wants the internet absolutely scorched earth. This would be scorched earth. This
Only
would
if they
be
made it
Microsoft.
exclusive, though.
Only if they would make it exclusive, but the lead up to it, Steel, because they wouldn't talk about that right away, right?
I mean,
just
yeah.
like with ZeniMax, they won't talk about it. So just to watch the scorched earth, Twitter would not be available, I don't think. I think, honestly, the servers would be down. I said this jokingly, I think on Xbox Ultimate the other night. I said Twitter would have to go to Microsoft and rent some Azure servers to handle the traffic if this went down, right? This would be outrageous.
Yeah.
So the petty side of me would love to see it. It would be fun to watch everybody die. But I think that it just doesn't make sense. I don't think it does.
Nah.
From a content standpoint, it doesn't make sense.
That's the biggest. That's the biggest one.
It definitely would bring it. It would definitely get the attention of everybody, but I just don't think so. So Take-Two for me just doesn't do it. So there's only really, in my opinion, one left.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Unless I'm forgetting one, Steel, which again, sleep deprivation. This would fill a bunch of needs. This would be in line with what Phil's been talking about. This one also has prior history as a deal that was almost done years ago. So the groundwork was laid. Yes, the numbers would be different this time, dramatically different this time. However, at the end of the day, it would work. Capcom.
Okay. Damn. Okay.
Capcom would.
It's a good one.
Phil has talked about, we know the inroads to the East. Phil wants to get in over there. Japan, South Korea, China, all these different places. Xbox has tried and failed forever. They now have an upswing. They now are actually gaining steam over there. Phil has talked about, they've got Tango Gameworks from the ZeniMax purchase. They've got one studio over there. Great. Sounds great. You need to make a big splash over there. Kojima deal later this year, probably the VGAs. That's going to make a splash. Okay.
Right.
Cool. But you really got to get in there. If you really want to have a chance, you got to get in there. Capcom would be the one. A lot of people don't know there was a deal 2017, 2018 when Capcom was at one of its lowest points. They were talking bankruptcy. Capcom was floundering. They were dead in the water. Microsoft stepped in. Xbox was talking to them. There was a deal on the table. Some people say the deal was to the point where it just needed a signature. And Capcom backed away, or Xbox backed away because they were unsure where they were going. The story changes on who you listen to. So they've already made those inroads. They have those connections. They have those relationships with Capcom. Capcom would fill the need of that Eastern publisher.
It would.
Big, gigantic name. Again, historic IPs involved. You're talking about Monster Hunter. You're talking about Resident Evil, of course, just Resident Evil alone. That would be huge for Game Pass. That would be huge for Xbox in general. That one right there would strike the nerve of a lot of people. And it would definitely put them on the map over there. Again, we're just talking strictly from an Eastern side of things. You can buy up Western developers all day long, European developers all day long. You can buy those guys up, but nothing's going to have the impact of actually getting into that side of the world in a big, big way to make sure that everybody over there knows you're serious. And yes, it would be a large deal. They would way overpay for Capcom at this point, just because of the success and the again, when you purchase these companies, that's why we usually see double the market cap value, is because it's future stuff. It's looking down the road. You're not just buying what's there today. You're buying what you believe is in the future, what their investors believe is in the future, because that's who you have to convince to sell. And so you have to give them that upfront value. And so they would really overpay for Capcom, but that would be a big, gigantic move into that part of the world and would get people talking here. Internet would explode again. Resident Evil exclusive to Xbox. Holy cow. That would be something to hear about, especially with how popular Resident Evil has come back with. You're talking about Monster Hunter, one of the biggest franchises, again, outside. Get outside your bubble. We're not just talking about the West here. Monster Hunter is one of the biggest franchises in the world. Monster Hunter Online, the last iteration, blew up and has potential. Jez likes to say it has the most potential out of any IP right now, as far as where they can take it and where it can go.
100%. I agree.
So and then you're talking about all the other IP that they're sitting on, right? You're talking about the Dragon's Dogma. You're talking about all the stuff that we wish would have come back. You're talking about, things that you could revitalize yet again, and make something out of. Big studio, tons of talent, obviously. So Capcom's the other one that fits into this for me. But I'll leave it there, Steel, unless you sitting on one. You seem like you're sitting on one that I didn't think about. Did I forget one?
No, because y'all brought it up in the conversation yesterday. I believe it was yesterday or the day before that. And it was Valve, man.
Oh God, dang it. Yeah, Valve. Oh, see,
I was just surprised.
You to babysit me.
No, you're good. You're good. I was just surprised that you didn't bring that up.
Yeah, we brought it up both nights.
I don't think.
Yeah.
The only reason I feel like that would be kind of earth shaking is just because of the impact Valve has on PC. And at that point, it would be the amount of integration you would have from Xbox to PC. Steam, that would completely get rid of Xbox's need for the Microsoft Store that they've been having trouble with. They can do everything, rebranding, put everything on Steam. Put Game Pass on Steam, really just leave it as it is, because Steam works really well, and that solves all of your problems on that front. And I feel like that just kind of makes sense. Now, I kind of do feel that would be more of an add-on more than we're gonna buy this to shake the earth. That's why I kind of make it at the really low at the bottom for the as far as the totem pole goes, as far as things that they're considering. But I do think it's not what they're considering as far as like what's going to happen here soon. But I do put it up there on the list as far as things they are considering, just to eliminate issues down the road, because that's the biggest thing. If you're going to continue with this integration, continue with the accessibility, you want things to be better with cloud and everything else, you want a guaranteed handheld system that is labeled, that you could just simply rebrand. Valve seemingly becomes the answer to all your problems. And then you're now touching a whole nother market. You're trying to get into the mobile market. Oh, boom. Now you just answer your mobile problem. Maybe, okay, you don't want a phone. Well, here's a handheld device. Okay, you don't want a handheld device. Okay, well, there's a phone or there's a console. Oh, you don't want that? Well, here's a PC. Like, at that point, it kind of really becomes, you can't ignore it, right? If you'd made a Valve play, but I still feel like it's more of an add-on than a main dish. I feel like the other ones we mentioned and everything are more so the main dishes, and with some other ones kind of being like the dessert afterwards, or just some kind of add-ons, or like the sprinkles on top of the ice cream, or whatever bonuses that you like to throw
it's
on.
It's a different type of purchase, right?
Yeah.
That truly is a Microsoft purchase at that point.
That 100%.
100%. Again, Xbox would obviously benefit from it, but at the end of the day, that's more of a Microsoft purchase. And again, I've been bullish on this. I've been bullish on this since I was in the chat and not even on podcasts. Shout out to 3-Bit, who claims he talked about Valve first just because he had a podcast and he talked about it. Guess what? I still beat you to the punch. Go back and look at those chats last year. I was there talking Valve. I think Valve is again, it depends on Gabe. It depends on when Gabe wants to leave the game. Mm-hmm. I think it makes sense. This could be the time that it happens. I think Gabe is now comfortable with Microsoft. They have repaired that bridge. Phil has done a great job getting Gabe back into the fold, and Satya as well, I'm sure, has met with Gabe. And I think he feels comfortable with Microsoft. That was a hostile breakup when Gabe left Microsoft.
100%.
Okay, hostile.
Different Microsoft though then too.
Completely different Microsoft. And I think Gabe is comfortable with where they're at and actually likes where they're at and the direction they are now going as a corporation. Mm-hmm. And I think he would be willing to hand his baby over to them. Again, there's two different directions here whenever we talk about Valve. Valve could go public if Gabe decides to sell and leave. Right? To get out of it. They could go public. They're going to make a fortune. They're going to make a killing public, right? So there is that consideration there. I think Gabe really would rather hand it off to somebody he knows and trusts. Yeah. And somebody that again, when you look at a $2 trillion company like Microsoft, again, anything can happen in the future. It can all burn down tomorrow because of some reason we didn't know about. But at the end of the day, it would be something you can see Microsoft, 100 years from now still existing, right? You could see that still being there. And so, handing your baby off to a corporation like that you now see is hands off. And again, hands change. Satya could be gone. You get somebody else in there, and all of a sudden they destroy Valve, right? I don't want to talk about it, but
yeah,
but you know what I'm saying.
Things
could change. But right now, I think Gabe is comfortable with it, and I think that probably is his first choice to do so. It just depends when he wants to get up and leave. But this would be a Microsoft purchase. You hit on all the points that I hit on. Thank you for bringing this back.
Oh, yeah.
Again, thanks for babysitting me because my mind's not working.
Oh, you're good, man.
Valve makes a lot of sense from a technological standpoint and from the PC market standpoint. And yes, it would cause monopoly talk to pop up for sure. For sure, it would cause it. Again, I don't think realistically you're looking at it. There's still plenty of competition out there. Yes, Steam is the king, but there's plenty. Epic Games has shown that there's plenty of competition out there, and even
though they're struggling again, a bit. But,
they're struggling a little bit, but they've made a mark. Let's put it that way. From nothing, they did come into the scene when Steam was already established and made a mark. So competition is still good. I think that it would make a ton of sense. Again, for them to secure that PC side of things. There would be a lot of people that would hate it. There would be Steam people would be up in arms. There would people that would leave. I can guarantee you that Steam would definitely see a drop. Are they going to leave their entire library for good? Probably not. But at the same time, there would be an uproar because people are very loyal to Steam. Very loyal to Steam. Indie Gamer, if he's not in the chat already, I'm surprised he hasn't popped up. He hates this idea and he says it's the worst idea in the world. It's never going to happen.
Well, it wouldn't change Steam, though.
There would be I know they wouldn't, but I'm just saying people in general, when it first happened, would be upset because they would think that everything was going to change.
I don't know. I kind of would have refute that a little bit just because of per what the PC master racer likes to tell you, they love console games. And all that would mean is that there's more console games coming to PC. So I don't think that they would actually fight against it. And I mean, I see what you're saying. And then maybe initially just because people are petty like that and want to have something to be mad about. But I don't think that at that point there would be anything to be mad about because honestly, they could leave it as is. They don't have to bring the Microsoft Store into Steam. No, kill the Microsoft Store and leave me alone. Right. But at that point, that's why I would refute a little bit.
No, absolutely. And then I think, Valve, from a technology standpoint, you get your VR. You get your VR that you've been, again, Microsoft is working on their own VR. They have been for a long time. Phil promised it for the Xbox One generation.
Yeah.
That's the big one that the people who like to down on Phil bring up constantly. It is true. He did promise it on stage.
VR is not far enough yet.
But again, I think at the time when he promised it, they planned on bringing something out, but then they realized that it just wasn't going to be good. And again, we got to remember Xbox was struggling during that generation. Yeah. So why bring out another niche
with
technology? right. Why bring out that? Why waste the money on that? Business decisions change. So again, yes, did he say that from facing? Absolutely, he did. And again, I don't think it's dead. I think they're working on it in the background. We've seen that they're working with the military on stuff, but for a commercial application, a commercial application that you can bring to market right away, you instantly get that, right? With Valve, you instantly get a VR setup that is proven, that is considered one of the best. And you have that right there in front of you. So you get that technology, and then you touched on it too, Steel. You get the Steam Deck. You get the handheld PC market is in its infancy. Technology is just now getting to the point where they can shrink down the PC to the size of a handheld, due to obviously chips, getting heat, all that kind of stuff. You got to have the power. What do you do with that power when it produces heat? In a handheld form, it's very hard to do. But now we're getting to that point. So now we're talking about the future. You already have into an emerging market in the handheld PCs. And like you talked about, Steel, and I talked about this, you rebrand it, you got yourself, you do some minor changes to it, rebrand it, you got your Xbox handheld, right? Instantaneously. You got your xCloud machine, whatever you want to call it, you got your Game Pass machine. You've got it. So you would be gobbling up a ton of great tech. IPs, look, nobody wants to hear it, but Half-Life 3 could finally be greenlit. That right there.
That's true.
You don't get a lot of IP, but you get some big IPs, right? You get Counter-Strike in there as well, which you could definitely do stuff with. But you get Half-Life. I know Half-Life Alyx came out for VR last year or whatever. It was last year, wasn't it?
For VR,
2 years ago.
I think it was about 2 years ago.
Last year. Yeah, whatever it was. Great critical success. Everybody's been waiting on Half-Life 3. Oh my God, if you greenlit that, you'd be king of the world. So again, not a lot of IP there. That's why it's not necessarily an Xbox buy. It's a Microsoft buy at the end of the day, but you do solidify the
last year
market, which is huge. Was last year? Okay. You solidify the PC market, which is absolutely huge.
Yeah,
and that's
100%.
something that they're angling for. So yeah, Valve would make a lot of sense. Again, it's up to Gabe. Beast Mode, I agree with you. Like I said, they definitely could go public. They definitely could go for an IPO. Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Mm-hmm. I think both possibilities are about on equal footing right now. And again, it all comes down to Gabe. It really does all come down to Gabe.
Yeah. I don't think Gabe would want it to go open just because he wants it to be treated right as he's treated it. Again, I mean, there's a reason why Steam is so acknowledged as the way that it is, right? It's easy to use, it's friendly. The only thing that I don't like is the whole big screen, big picture mode for Steam. I don't think that's as great. But I also don't use it that often. I just use the base Steam app. So it's kind of one of those things. I think it would be a good move though, for sure. So
Right, exactly. So yep. So those, I think we covered the big ones. I think we covered the ones. There's some other ones that we could have discussions. That, again, we don't need to do it here. This is we've killed this portion of it. But you got the Bandai Namcos, which I personally want. Mm-hmm. I that'd be a big move on that side of the world too. You got some of these smaller ones. You definitely have a big collection of individual studios that you could definitely go out and pick up. And I don't think those are off the table. Like I said before, I think this is just the big move is an if, not when. We've heard it direct from their mouth. I think it makes sense. You buy a publisher who's been running their ship, who you don't have to have hands-on with. And then again, once you get them slotted in, you now have ZeniMax over on one side. You've got whatever publisher B over on this side. They're both underneath your umbrella. They're both running independently, reporting directly to Phil, obviously, but they're running independently. And then you buy the smaller studios and you divvy those out. Matt Booty is filled. Matt Booty direct underneath Xbox Game Studios is filled up with those studios. You buy these individual studios and place them wherever, under which publisher you think they would fit best and work best under, and they take them on. And I think that's an easy play. You now have, a 2-headed, 3-headed monster going where you can divvy up these individual studios that you go out and get. And that way you don't have to worry about things, right? Yeah. You don't cause a problem where Booty gets overwhelmed, things start slipping. You don't want that. You want quality control to go through the roof. They've talked about that consistently, that the quality of games coming out now needs to be premium.
Yes.
We know for a fact that they have looked at games like The Last of Us 2. They have an internal team that goes and rates those games and sees what they are doing. And I think they're shooting for that because now you have the time, you have the resources, you have the backing. You don't need to worry about pushing out games just to push out games. You have so much content at this point. You just slot them in when they are ready.
Right.
You don't say we need you done by this date.
No.
Right. We don't have to do that anymore. We say, when are you going to be done? Okay, good. We'll pencil that in. Let us know. We're going to update. Oh, you need an extra 3 months? No problem. This game's ready to go. We'll put that game back here where you were. Go ahead, take your extra 3 months, polish it up, get it ready. That's what you start doing. You start controlling your own destiny. And I think that's the biggest play for Microsoft, is being in charge of their own destiny without worrying about anybody else and what they're doing and where they're at. You just worry about your own. You make your own path like they are. You get to that 2-3 billion people that you want to. I think that's where they're at with this. So.
Yeah, I would have to agree. So, facts. With that being said, so that's our acquisition season talk on Living SplitScreen, man. I feel like we really hit that out of the park. We touched on a really
let's hope Monday's crazy. Let's hope Monday's crazy.
Let's see if Monday's crazy.
It's gonna be a good time.
If it is, awesome. If it's not,
let me just say that.
Conversations won't stop.
Yeah, the conversations aren't going to stop. They're not even going to stop if something's announced Monday. It'll be on to the next. What's next? Trust me, that's going to continue to happen. But look, everybody needs to understand these deals. There's always talks going on in the background. These deals are gigantic. for when you're talking publisher.
Right.
It could happen next week. It could happen 2 weeks. It could happen 6 months from now. Right. It's just it is a win, not an if anymore. But we like talking about this stuff. It's exciting to talk about this stuff for us. Being armchair CEOs is one of my favorite things to do. I used to do it when I was giant into football. I'd be an armchair quarterback, armchair GM. It's always fun. That's why there's trade. When you look at sports, as far as an analogy goes, there's constant trade rumors, right? Why is there constant trade rumors? Because everybody wants to talk about that new shiny piece they could possibly go get, right? It's huge. That's part of it. This is the same thing. You're just a shiny new piece that you want, coming underneath the umbrella. Again, I love all games everywhere. But when you're talking about Xbox, they have the potential to do this kind of stuff, whereas other places don't. And as a Game Pass subscriber, yes, I am selfish. Yes, I am greedy. I'm happy. I have more games to play than I know what to do with.
Right.
But of course, I'd love to see more come into Game Pass. Are you kidding me? Of course I want that. Of course. So, but again, when we talk about this stuff, it is for fun. It is for what ifs. It is for just looking at the industry as a whole, where it's going, what a specific company is doing. And that's all it is. We're just playing the game and having a good time with it. It's not meant to be, all serious and, oh my God, if this doesn't happen next week, I can't believe Xbox, did this.
I don't care about it enough.
I know. I don't care about that either. I'm just putting it out there. So again, people have fun with it. Glad you guys enjoyed the conversation. There was a lot of great talk going in there. Y'all, we appreciate you.
Y'all, I would say the chat, y'all have been the highlight, man. To see how active y'all have been talking about this whole thing, just shows how important it is, right? Again, people get so emotionally involved and get their feelings involved in all these, and it's just like, bro, step outside, take a break, go smoke something, go eat something, whatever you need to do to relax.
Medicine.
Yeah, whatever you need, plant medicine. You kill me with that shit. Whatever you need to do, because it's true though. Whatever you need to do to relax, go do that. Because I cannot tell y'all have way more time than I do to worry about these fucking so minute things, that how much they bother you. Like, I haven't even been on Twitter enough for it to bother me. Like, I see people talking about it, but it's like, so it's part of the conversation. I don't know. I just feel like it's just weird being a gamer, being in the community, being part of the ecosystem, and not being able to pull back from yourself. It's always so strange to me, man. I don't know. That's just me though. With that being said, let's get into something else that's a little strange. And I actually think on this portion I think you might like my idea once you hear it. I think you might like my idea once you hear it. And
I don't know where he's going right now, folks.
And it's about something. It's about something that you care about a lot, and I know how much it means to you because it means a lot to me too. It does. There is another game that's more important, but this game is also pretty important for me personally. It helped shape my first-person shooter career. It helped shape my competitiveness. It just happens that this other game just kind of did it a little more for me. And that's the game that I'm speaking on is Battlefield 2042.
Ooh.
We were hearing rumors initially that it was going to get pushed back into next year.
Crisis averted. Ooh, I was on watch.
I wanted to bring this idea up because what I think would have been dope, because we like this whole date analogy thing. We like to use dates with things, right? What I think would have been dope, and I feel like it's something that they should do just because people are underestimating Halo, and especially with Halo being free to play. I do not want Battlefield to get looked over, period. Yeah. I want Battlefield to get all the attention it deserves. So why not give Battlefield 90 days? Because now we're hearing it's going to release in November, end of November. Why not give Battlefield another 90 days from that enough time in November? Well, not exactly 90, but and release it on 2042 essentially. You know how awesome that would be? 2022
have a good
Battlefield 2042. Yo, you wouldn't be able to forget about it at that point. Like, it would go down in history. Like, you remember that game that released in 2022? Yeah. Battlefield 2042. Yeah, that was an awesome game. I just think that using the date would be an awesome point to really just stick into people's minds, right? Now, again, I understand why people want it sooner. I understand why you want it sooner, Pong. You're a huge fan of Battlefield. You're a bigger Battlefield fan than you are a Halo fan, which is why I'm saying, unfortunately, as much as I love Battlefield, if Halo releases 2 weeks after Battlefield is not going to get played. Now, what's funny about that is that I'm getting Halo for free, quote unquote, $15 a month.
Well, and the multiplayer is free.
And the multiplayer is free regardless.
Right.
Battlefield, I'm still probably going to pay over $100 for. And then I'm going to end up putting it down after Halo comes out. Now, they are different enough from each other that you could play both experiences and not be tired of either or, not be tired of playing a first-person shooter, right? Because that's how different they are from each other. So I can acknowledge that, and maybe I'll have to get a half a day in with one or half a day in with the other. Or maybe I'll just have to get Battlefield when I can get into Battlefield, whatever the case might be. But it's just one of those things to where I feel like it would be more of a benefit if they did push it further back, just so they can get more time to work on whatever needs to be worked on, whether that be more things on the multiplayer end, whether that be more things on making sure that the game's going to run right, or whatever the case might be, because we're hearing so many different things in the background as far as the ups and downs with this game. As expansive as it looks, as great as it looks, as kind of defining, because it could definitely define the genre this time around for sure, especially with Call of Duty. Again, I made the reference on Twitter that COD over the last few years, honestly, has been kind of dumpster juice to me. And especially this year, compared to Battlefield or Halo, if you're considering COD, I don't know. I may not be able to take your opinion that serious, but I understand why people are like COD for what it is. It's arcade. It's arcadey, man. It is what it is. But over at Halo or Battlefield, I don't know. That's not the choice that I would make. And Battlefield and Halo take so much more precedence than COD would, at least this year, the next year, and so on and so forth. So with that being said, you, Pong, as a fan of Battlefield, more than Halo, you want Battlefield to come out sooner than later. How do you feel about this delay? Do you still think that coming out a couple weeks before Halo is a good move for them? Do you think that's going to give them plenty of time? Again, me and you are going to end up having at least 3 weeks with Battlefield anyway, because we're going to end up getting $100+ version, $110, $20 version, I believe it is. So we'll actually get that extra weekend. So essentially we'll get a month with it, where not everybody's going to get that. How are you feeling about that? And do you feel kind of questionable about 2042? Do you think the time would be worth it, or do you just want the game to release kind of sooner, just kind of for selfish reasons?
I'm completely selfish on this one, because I was on the verge of tears when I heard 2022. This is the one game coming up the end of this year that I did not want to get moved. Okay, here's the deal. Like, again, I can take a step back. I talk about it all the time. So I'll take a step back from my personal feelings, right? Again, delays are never bad if you are polishing the game. I'm not a big believer in moving a game just to move a game due to competition. I don't like that aspect. I think you take on whatever competition it is. I think Dying Light 2, I think moved because of Halo. I still don't know if that was the right move. Now, if they're polishing up and they needed more time, so be it. They needed more time. I don't care. That's fine. Take your time, right? I would understand. And I have said from the beginning that EA and DICE cannot screw this Battlefield up. They cannot. They are on the I believe Battlefield as a franchise is at a fork in the road. Okay. And I think if they screw this one up, like they screwed up the past, well, Battlefield 1 was good. Battlefield 1 was good. It's just, again, a lot of people got sick and tired of the old style already. And Battlefield 1, but Battlefield 1 overall was good. It just wasn't the full experience of Battlefield for me.
Right.
But based on Hardline, Battlefield 5 especially,
wasn't bad.
If they screw this, but it
didn't hit. It didn't hit.
Had its issues. If they screw this one up, I think they have the potential to lose fans for a long time. And I think they've already lost a bunch. Okay. But I think that this one here could bring back a portion of those fans. And I think they got the perfect opportunity with the position that Vanguard is in and what we are seeing. They're in a perfect position to take back the crown between those two, or at least get back into the conversation. Call of Duty is going to sell no matter what. Again, at the end of the day, there's too many people that just buy it. It's like Madden. People complain, and then they're complaining while they're handing over their credit card, right? They're complaining while they're hitting the purchase button.
I think this is going to be a time that there's going to be a little bit different, though. I think people may actually fight it a little bit this time.
There could be.
They might see some dips in this time
because of the setting. I think you're right. I think there could be a time where people do actually honestly look over at Battlefield this time and go, "Okay, I want a modern setting. I'm going to go try Battlefield again."
I mean, even to keep it away from Battlefield, I think it's going to be more so people. I think people are just going to realize I'd rather play Warzone.
Yeah, that's true too. You're right. I always forget about Warzone. Warzone is still out there and succeeding. So yeah. You're absolutely correct. But get back to Battlefield.
Facts.
If they needed to delay it more, fine. If it was going to make the game better, fine. Because like I'm saying, I don't think they can make a mistake this time around. They can't. They're going to be having issues, obviously. Anytime you're trying to put 128 people into a match, there's going to be problems. Anytime that you're talking about maps as big as they are showing off, there's probably going to be issues. Okay. There's just two ways about it. You can't,
got a lot going on.
You can't simulate everybody hopping on that style of game all at one time internally. You can't. There's no way to do it. The beta test will probably help them. The tech test, I think, probably showed them some really big spots that they needed to fix. I think that's what prompted this, because I know people that played in the tech test, and there was issues. There was definitely issues, not to the level that we're seeing in Vanguard, but there was definitely issues. So I think that tech test definitely said, okay, maybe we need to take another 30 days and try to shore up some of this stuff. So Battlefield 2042 has a big opportunity, even with Halo. You are absolutely correct. Halo being free to play, Halo being Halo, and what it means to so many people. And again, the people who have downplayed Halo over these past years and saying Halo is not, is no longer necessary or is no longer what it once was. You guys are about to find out. You guys and gals are about to find out what Halo means to the world. Okay, you really are. And this is coming from casual Halo guy. I will spend more time in Battlefield than I will in Halo. I can almost guarantee you that. As much as I like what I played in Halo, it's still it never grabbed me. Battlefield is the franchise that got me to like first-person shooters. Okay, period. Battlefield is the franchise. Right, exactly. Battlefield is that franchise. So, but I think Halo is going to dominate. Halo is going to be king yet again, free to play. The streamers are going to absolutely love it. It is going to be a fantastic time. It is going to be out in everybody's face nonstop. We're talking tens of millions. Okay. I think at the end of the day, we'll pick up and play Halo, whether it's the multiplayer or whether it's the campaign. Tens of millions of people are going to pick this thing up. Okay. So a Battlefield's job is to carve its niche. It's to carve its niche out of that. It's to find its spot again, because it has been dead. Battlefield 5 is a great looking game. Battlefield 5 at this point where they got it to is great, but you already lost 80% of your population because nobody was going to sit around and wait for you to fix the major problems. Nobody was going to do that. There's too much competition nowadays. There's too many different games pulling at people that the minute that your game, we saw this with Outriders. People gave it a shot. It had a chance. Outriders had a real chance. Steel and I beat it together. There was a lot of people. There was a lot of good stuff in there. Shout out to you for finishing this freaking platforming part. This part sucked. Steel got us through it. But Battlefield, but Outriders had a chance. Had they not done what they did, had they fixed the issues that were the most pressing, instead of trying to nerf everybody, instead of trying to kill what people were enjoying, getting powerful and then running through the game and looting, they screwed all that up. They didn't fix the online problems. They didn't fix the connection issues. They didn't fix all the issues that were preventing people from actually playing your game. You instead decided to start nerfing classes and started nerfing powers and started doing that stuff instead. You can't do that, right? You can't do that. People left. There's too many other games to go play. You don't have that opportunity anymore.
Right.
So Battlefield's going to have its issues. Battlefield 5 had its issues. They didn't fix them. People left. People left for good. People said, I'm done. I don't care what it looks like. I've gone back to it. Love what I play in there. It's gorgeous. Again, they have everything that in place. They've got they brought it back to modern day, right? They've created their own Forge mode, which is going to allow people to create new experiences and share them with the rest of the world, and also use the old franchises that are beloved, like Bad Company. They're going to be able to use those assets, create their own new levels, their own, well, not levels, because the levels are pretty much set, but you know what I'm saying? They're going to be able to play with the rules and create their own gameplay. And I think that is huge. And they've got a chance here, but they can't screw it up. And so again, if you need to delay it more, just delay it more. Don't do this. I don't want to see it come October after the beta and they go, guess what? We need more time. I don't want that, right? I would just rather them push it to 2022 if they have to now out the gates. I don't want that continuous delay thing where they go, God, I gotta make this one. Well, I don't want that to happen. So for me, selfishly, yes, I want it this year. It's one big game I'm looking for. Like you, Steel, I'm going to spend $100 on it. I rarely buy, especially in first-person shooters, I rarely buy the ultimate packages for Battlefield. I'm going to. That's how excited I am for this game. In the end, am I going to be disappointed? We have yet to find out. I think it's got a lot of potential. I've watched a lot of videos on Battlefield. They weren't supposed to be out there in the wild, but they were out there in the wild, and I loved what I was seeing. There was a lot of good stuff in there, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. So that's where I'm at with Battlefield. Again, I want it so badly that my personal desires override things. But if I take a step back at the end of the day, I want Battlefield in the best position to succeed. I think Vanguard is going to take a step back. And even if Battlefield delayed, Halo would be in full force. I still think the modern shooter still has appeal to enough people that you would still be able to build a good solid community, even in 2022, even if you did delay it out.
I agree. I mean, I'm right there with you. Like I said, I would rather them push it back just because, again, like you brought the point, it's one of those, they can't miss again. Call of Duty can afford to miss. They're just going to go back in the oven and try to work on it again and maybe try to release a game, maybe skip a year. Battlefield can't miss. At this point, you've kind of been up and down, around the block, around the corner, can't get the game running right in the beginning, and that turns people off. Like Battlefield 4 is a perfect example of that. I played Battlefield 4 really heavily, but in the beginning it was unplayable damn near. It wasn't enjoyable, it wasn't fun, it didn't carry over from the last game really well, so it turned a lot of people off, and it took time, years, for people to come back to it. Is it at a good point now? Yes, but honestly, on the series consoles, even on PC, it looks a lot better on PC, but on the series console, it looks fuzzy as hell. It didn't, so it hasn't aged well. So it's a turnoff. You know, you can't expect for people to go back to that. They're going to go to 5, they're going to go to 1, and then they're going to play that and be like, I'm not trying to play this. Like, this isn't the Battlefield that I'm trying to play. So to see them with everything that they're doing, bringing all the types of combat into one game, that's the other thing that has to be taken into consideration too, right? Is that not only do they need to get this right, they're also doing a lot that they have to get right. They can't ignore it. If you need more time, if you want these systems to work right, you want that 4 modern army dudes versus 20 or however many older army military dudes to work, you need to make sure that the system's in place and it's not buggy and it's not broken and everything else ahead of time. Because if not, and people get in there, it's going to be another mode that doesn't work. It's going to be another part of Battlefield that doesn't work. And then word around town goes really fast. And then you have your free-to-play counterpart, Warzone or Halo at that point. And of course, you could bring up Fortnite, Apex, whatever else the case might be. But we're really just talking about Halo and Warzone that you look across to and say, damn, might as well just play that. That's what you don't want to happen. Again, especially with everything that EA is going through, you're on a kind of a upswing now. You got the Star Wars IP looking in the right direction. Can you get Battlefield going in the right direction? I guess we'll see. I'm excited to see what they end up doing with it. I just want them to take their time with it. I'm all about that. You know what I mean? If that's what they need. Again, if they feel comfortable with it, we'll get 3 weeks of playing it. I just don't want it to get fed to Halo. I don't want that to happen.
No, I know. I get you. And you're right. Again, it will. So I think at the end of the day, it still will, no matter how good it is. I think it still will. Like you said, there will be people like me who split time between the two, like you that split time between the two. There will definitely be that crossover, but Halo could consume all. I mean, it really could. It could even consume Vanguard to a certain degree if Vanguard is not right and people do start kind of looking at Call of Duty sideways and being like, yeah, I don't need you right now. I don't need you in my life. Sorry.
Yeah.
You've been in my life for a long time, but this year I just really don't need you. I think that could definitely happen. And I think Battlefield as a whole, I think they're looking at the big long-term play here.
Right.
And I think that whole, Forge mode, I forget what they call it. My brain's dead today. Anyways, their mode with the creation mode, I think they're looking at that as potentially being a whole platform itself that lives on.
I hope so.
That lives on year after year, where they can just expand it out, eventually bring customizable maps into it where you can, deform the terrain and create your own maps as well.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you've got yourself a living, ongoing kind of play that you could actually turn free to play like Warzone. And that would be a whole nother freaking level, right? To turn that over and say, hey, everybody come on in, create your own Battlefield maps and play. Can you imagine, man? That would be pretty insane. So I think they're definitely looking at that. We still have not heard about the third mode officially that they have. And that could be their answer to Warzone, their answer to Battle Royale. It sounds like it's going to be actually squad based. I get the feeling more Warzone style, but small squad based stuff. So we'll have to see. But I think they've got their answers, but I think they are thinking now as Battlefield, like so many people are doing. And again, I know people hate to hear this stuff, but this is the future of the industry. It's not going to be everything. Not every game is going to fit this, but they are looking at Battlefield as a platform now. They are looking at to turn it into something bigger.
Might as well.
That lives on into the future without having a brand new iteration every year, right? I think that's what they're looking at. They're just going to add on to it as they go. But again, you know where my hopes are, Steel. I'm all about Battlefield. So I hope they get this right, man. I hope they get this right.
I do too. I'm right there with you. Like, I want it to be great just because if they do everything that they're trying to do, it can literally redefine the first-person shooter genre, especially for like your sim type or more realistic type game. That can also have more arcadey feels to it at times. You got game modes and everything for that. It's going to be completely. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to be completely customizable. That's what's crazy about this one. It's going to be completely. You're going to have servers that are completely custom to whatever the needs are. You're going to be able to look at it and be like, all right, well, they got older gen, they got this gen and this gen going against each other. They got these vehicles and these vehicles. They got, they're playing Rush, they're playing Conquest, they're playing Domination, they're doing whatever game modes, they're mixing it up. The nades only, like, I want to do that real quick. Why not? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just, there's so much potential in it, and I don't want them to drop the ball on it. That's my biggest thing. As a Battlefield fan, I do not want them to drop the ball on it. And I just have to put the faith in them that they know what they're doing. Again, I'm not a dev. I don't know where they're at in the process. If they feel like dropping it, then it's going to be a good time to drop it. Cool, but it's just like, between Forza, between Halo, you're fighting for a lot of time, and it you kind of make it seem like you have this marketing deal with Xbox. Like,
This is the reality now, Steel, though, for every game, man, going forward. Like, we are at that point that it is going, like, the normies are going to determine, like, when I say normies,
I know what you mean.
Don't like that word, but you know what I'm saying. And I don't like using casuals either. But the normies are going to determine the success of a lot of games these days, because those of us that do have a lot of interest and play a ton of different games, we have so much content that it really is, every single game is going to be battling for just a small sliver of attention from people. It really is to that point now. Like, it's crazy, man. Because like you said, Forza is still sitting there. That's a time sink. Forza Horizon is a gigantic open world.
Huge.
It's a time sink, man. It really is. Like, you can just get lost in all these places, and we don't even have any big like RPGs this year. Like, we don't have any, like, next year when Starfield launches, my God, man, you're talking about hundreds of hours time sink. So yeah, I think this is just the reality of the situation going forward. I just hope Battlefield can make its mark, man.
I mean, hopefully, I'm definitely wishing for the same. Well, with that being said, I feel like we killed that too, man. A lot of excitement for it, a lot of energy for it. I hope everybody is just paying attention to the streets and keeping your ear to the ground, man. Because this could go so many different ways. Again, we're reaching that age. Not reaching it. We're in the age of accessibility, the age of diversity, the age of just options, man. And I don't want nobody to feel rushed. Again, you're at a point where you literally do not have to be rushed unless you feel like you have to fill some kind of agenda. And again, with people, not everybody has the same support as Microsoft has been supporting for their studios and everything. Not everybody has that. So you have to do what you have to do, make people happy the way you need to make them happy. But it kind of is what it is at that point. With that being said, I did want to shout out to everybody in the chat for rocking with us at this point. Where the next segment we're going to get into is the This Day in Gaming segment, aka Make Pong Feel Old segment that we weren't able to get into last week since we're on a roll of doing 4-hour shows.
We can do that again today, brother.
We definitely do. We can definitely jump into it more. I definitely want to get some gaming in today too, though. And
for sure.
See if the afternoon ends
we
up
both
getting
got
busy
stuff
for
to
me.
going.
And we've both got stuff going on behind the scenes, so I definitely want to get us up and running. I feel like we've been over the last, almost 2.5. We've been just feeding the people, man, giving them the energy, giving them the passion, talking about it from so many different angles. We haven't been repetitive. We haven't been, fanboyish or whatever the case. I feel like one of the things I really take pride in, with Living SplitScreen, LSS, and why I wanted to bring in the whole us going to be like a half a year of doing this is the way we just present the information, the way we present ourselves, the way we present the content overall. And I feel like the way that we understand the bigger picture. And it's just such an amazing thing as we continue to progress through this, to see y'all constantly be engaged, be active, loving the content, even enough to share it out and just be here week by week, that we're making that kind of an impact on you all is an amazing thing to me. It's something that I look forward to every week. It gets me through the long weeks of work and everything. And it's greatly appreciated, man. And again, Pong, much love to you for being here with me doing it. Again,
brother.
If it wouldn't have been for the chats, where would we be at? If it wasn't for gaming, where would we be at? And just keep in mind, the hobby is a hobby at the end of the day. We all have many hobbies, right? Like I said earlier, I took a whole week out just to build a model Gundam, right? That I customize and everything for myself. It's another hobby. I'm also into bike riding, motorcycle riding, everything. Like, there's so many other things that go on outside of just this. We have to pull ourselves back from it a little bit sometimes, and just look at the bigger picture. And I feel like we do that really well here. So hopefully I can speak for us both as far as that goes.
You can, brother.
And with that being said, look, if you're here, hit that like button, share it out with a buddy. Again, the business side of things have to be handled because, again, we can't get the show out there if that like button doesn't get hit. You know how the algorithms work. But that's neither here or there. With that being said, let's get into This Day in Gaming. I actually switched up some things. Unless there's some things that you wanted to get into really quickly, Pong. I actually switched up some things a little bit because it was just too much going on that full screen page, man. When I had everything displaying on there, it just wasn't working that well. So I switched it back to my scene that I call the show stuff scene. And I just put the This Day in Gaming segment on there. And the fact that it's a dive into the past with a guy diving into the portal, I just feel like it's a good little scene. Just a little change up for y'all. Just to, you know, we're constantly working on things in the background, man. And wanting to make things adjust and just overall show that we're
why you're the best, brother.
Constantly building and working on things, man. So, and also, I want to make sure everybody can see everything that's on this page. It's something that's important to me. Look at every game, see the different types of attention. It looks like there's some things that might hit home with me, at least on this age, on this deep dive. So, with that being said, let's get into it. This Day in Gaming, September 18th. We go back at least 30 years. At most 30 years than This Day in Gaming. So, with that being said, let's start off with the DS in 2006. Started kind of early off this year. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's always different. It's always the ranges that are so interesting to me.
I know.
So 15 years ago, 2006, the DS came out with Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Blue Rescue Team. Didn't play that game, but if you did.
You didn't? Why not?
No.
Come on, Pokehead.
No,
what are you doing?
My Pokemon days died after like Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire. I was done after that.
They never die, Steel. They're with you for life.
No, Pokemon won't die. Pokemon is one of those brands that are probably going to be around for the rest of your life.
Probably.
Unfortunately. Fortunately or unfortunately. I only say unfortunately because they just refuse to push it forward. You could be doing so much more and you're not doing it. 2007 PlayStation 2 released Digimon World Data Squad. They also released on the DS Digimon World Dawn, then Digimon World Dusk, which those games sound familiar. I didn't have a DS myself. My last Game Boy was the SP. Amazing Game Boy system, by the way. So I didn't really get into those, but I heard they were decent games. PlayStation 2 released Grow Lancer. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Grow Lancer Heritage of War.
Yes, you are.
Not familiar with that title. Doesn't sound familiar. DS and the Wii both released My Sims. Again, Sims may also be another one of those that just doesn't die. DS released Sonic Rush Adventure. That was actually a really excellent Sonic game that was on the DS.
Never played that one.
I didn't have a DS, but I had a cousin who had a DS, and she let me play it all the time when I would visit, and it was an amazing game. I felt like they had a lot of extra characters and everything in there. They did really well with that one. PlayStation 2 released Warriors Orochi, which is another cult classic.
Orochis, yeah.
Cult classic.
Samurai Warriors is better, but Orochi is a close second. I love Orochis.
I like Samurai Warriors. I really want to play the Gundam version of Samurai Warriors. Dynasty Wars. I'm thinking Dynasty Wars.
Dynasty Wars. Yeah, but they're all the same family.
It's all the same thing, but
yep, it is.
Then PSP released Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Tag Force 2. I might have played that. I played PSP really heavily, man. PSP was definitely an icon.
PSP.
So, can't talk enough about that. 2008, PlayStation 3 released Eternal Sonata in Japan.
Underrated RPG.
I'm about to say, I'm not even
JRPG, music-based JRPG. So they use instruments.
Sonata.
They use instruments as weapons. Freaking amazing. It was really underrated. Yeah.
Interesting. Excellent. Then in 2010, the DS released Pokemon Black in Japan and Pokemon White in Japan. Talk about diversity
today. God, man. Jeez.
That's actually both of those versions I heard were actually pretty decent. My brother played those very heavily, and he enjoyed them and everything. And it actually had one of his most favorite Pokemon, legendary Pokemon, I think to date, in there. I believe that's the Yuga. I may be saying the name wrong. Something like that. Zayuga, something like that. He's like green and white or whatever the case. He looks like an Xbox character. Like looks like he could be an Xbox mascot, honestly. Awesome. And he has like many different versions and everything. He's actually a pretty dope character from what he showed me. But anyway, 2012, another cult classic for a lot of people. PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 both released Borderlands 2.
The greatest games of all time.
Not my thing, but a classic.
2. This is on my list. This is on lots of people's list.
Yeah.
Introduced one of the greatest video game characters of all time. Side characters.
Yeah.
Tiny Tina. She is a classic. Tiny Tina Wonderworlds. I cannot wait just because of this. But Borderlands 2, absolutely just the pinnacle of looter shooter right there. That game is a masterpiece.
Yeah. I've heard that from a lot of people. My brother's also said the same thing. He was one of those that sunk hundreds of hours. He probably has if not at least 1,000 hours in that game. And then fell off on Borderlands 3. He didn't like it as much. If that tells you anything, I guess, pay attention to that. I didn't get into Borderlands 2. It was one of those things to where I didn't jump into it. I probably would have got into it if I would have jumped into it early enough, or if I had people to really rock with at the time. I'm pretty sure I was also too involved with Gears at the time to even try to pay attention to it. Or Halo, one of the two. Those two will always pull my attention, so that was probably one of those scenarios. But neither here or there, Borderlands 2 I know is a classic. Then on 2014, PC released Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut. I heard Shadowrun's actually a really good game.
Oh my God, man. You know how many times you heard me talk about it?
Yeah, Shadowrun you talk about a lot.
This RPG, and again, these are PC only. This is when I was still underneath the belief that Xbox actually owned the Shadowrun IP, but they actually had given it back to the original creator, and he went over to PC and made a couple games. I've looked them up. This is like a game I almost just wanted to see if my Surface could run it. I think the Surface could probably run it because I want to play them, because they are the old Shadowrun styles by the original guy, famous for Shadowrun. Shadowrun is one of the greatest RPGs of all time. Cyberpunk, man, Shadowrun nails it.
Yeah,
100%.
That's what I've always heard. I've always heard Shadowrun nails that, like that Cyberpunk-esque, future-esque kind of world out of the park. But I never had a chance to really dump into it. Shadowrun's one of those that I kind of want to come back up to date so I can get a feel for it.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, man.
2014, PC also released Wasteland 2. Wasteland 3 has seemingly been doing really well, so to see them to continue to push out that franchise is really dope, man. Again, if you're into that, I believe it's a RTS style game. So yeah, if you're into that, man, shout out to that. Again, I've fallen off with RTSs after StarCraft 2, so if that gives you some kind of perspective, just don't have
the director's cut of Wasteland 2 is on Xbox, so you guys can pick it up. Yeah, no, I think it was in Game Pass for a while too, but you can pick it up. Yeah, it's awesome.
Definitely check that
out.
In
Exile is freaking amazing.
Just wait, they are.
Their AAA game they got coming, gonna put them on the map. People will realize how great those guys are. I said it last night, real quick. In Exile, as far as writing and character development go, right up there with your Bethesdas and your and your Obsidians, right up there with them. People are going to realize once they get this AAA title out for Xbox. Watch, they are amazing.
Gotcha. Yep. Sounds good. Then in 2015, PC released Timberman.
Timberman.
Never heard of that, but all right. Timberman.
Are you chopping trees?
I guess so.
Are you a tree?
Maybe you're in the Wizard of Oz, and I don't know. You're the Timberman. I don't know.
Now you got me curious. Timberman on PC. I gotta look this shit up.
That sounds really interesting. See, it's these games you don't hear about, man. You're like, okay. Then 2018 PlayStation 4 released Labyrinth of Refrain, Coven of Dusk. Haven't heard of that game, but interesting. The Labyrinth movie was actually good back in the day. Actually, I believe that movie came out before I was born, but I've actually seen that movie quite a few times. It's a good movie. Nintendo Switch and PC released Speed Brawl. I don't know what that is. Do you do speed and then brawl? I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe you're driving fast cars and bumping into each other. It could be another Burnout franchise. Who knows?
Yes, Timberman, by the way, it is a old school arcade style casual game. Become a Timberman. Chop wood.
Oh, we were right.
Avoid the branches.
Nice.
Yes.
Dude, the chop wood.
4 variable environments and like 37 different Timbermen to unlock. So there you go.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. 37 different Timbermen. You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Those are the kind of guys you want to get into. Timberman. That's the very next thing we need. We need a tree chopping simulator.
Sorry, I had to bring that one up. All right, that's funny. I had to go look it up.
That's funny.
All right. Cool.
Then in 2018, Nintendo Switch, the French Switch.
Oui, mon frère.
The Nintendo Switch released Undertale. I've heard about that game.
Yeah, it's on Xbox. It's on Game Pass, I think. It's still on Game Pass.
No, not my type, but I've heard it was an all right game.
Old 8-bit style. Like you got to be into those. But a lot of people love it. So I fooled around with it. It didn't grab me. So
okay, interesting. Then in 2020, Nintendo the Switch. I can't stop saying it now. I can't stop saying it now. I think of Mario and it automatically just I don't know why it comes out like that. But yeah, they released Super Mario 3D All Stars, which a lot of people liked, but this is another one of those like, nah, this isn't the first time you released something like this. But anyway, PlayStation 4 also released WWE 2K Battlegrounds, the arcade style wrestling game that actually I've heard a lot of people have had fun with.
It was all right. All right.
Some people had fun with it.
It wasn't bad.
But with that said, that is your This Day in Gaming segment. This is your Saturday morning
Make me
podcast.
feel old.
That too. The make Pong feel old section. But look, man, this has been LSS in the morning, Living Split Screen, giving you that live, raw, uncut, authentic, organic energy to get that morning started. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you all for tuning in, being locked in with us. We are going to get the show wrapped up and get you guys out of here. Pong, man, is there any last things that you want to holler at the people about, talk to them about, lead your way out of the room?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Steel.
Oh, yeah,
God,
man.
Damn, episode 25 in the books. I was sleep talking through this whole episode. Hope you guys can still feel the energy because it is truly still real for me. But no, this is a great show, man. This is a fantastic show. Again, the smoke this week has been so much fun. A lot of people didn't even realize THQ Nordic had a show yesterday.
Yes.
Just to throw that out there real quick. They had a showcase. Look, they put out a tweet afterwards too. They got THQ Nordic alone, and this is inside Embracer Group. Just the THQ Nordic has 42 games in development.
Yep.
42 games alone in development. They just showed off 14 of them yesterday. They still have 28 unannounced titles that they're working on. But definitely go check out that show if you guys did not realize that was coming on. There was some good stuff. There was some PC stuff in there. But they did announce Destroy All Humans 2.
Yes, they did.
Looks if you like Destroy All Humans,
looks that but better. Yeah.
Yeah. So go check that out. That one got announced. Outcast 2. For some really deep diving people out there, Outcast was a huge hit on the PC.
Yes,
it was an open world game before there was really open world game styles. Like it was crazy. It was kind of under the radar for a lot of people, but then they did release it on PS4. I actually fooled around with it on PS4. It was old, so it didn't, again, it wasn't great, but I could see what was there. They just announced Outcast 2, so a lot of people are hyped for that right now. Obviously Elix 2 got announced yesterday. We've seen the trailer for that one. Elix, for anybody who doesn't remember, I've talked about it on this show. Again, AA lover here. This is one of those AA RPGs that is under the radar, that didn't get a whole lot of hype. Either you hated it or you loved it. A lot of good things, a lot of good systems, the skill trees in here, the different variety of skills that you can get, the depth of the RPG, the dialogue in it, all very, very well done. I got to get back to that game. I want to finish it now that Elix 2 is coming out for sure. So that's a good one to look at. And any MX versus ATV lovers out there still, that was a big game back in the day. Guess what? They got a new one for you called Legends. So that's coming back as well. So go check out that THQ Nordic showcase.
I'm just surprised you didn't tell the people about the most important game that was announced at that THQ Nordic show.
SpongeBob?
And that's SpongeBob the Cosmic Shake, man. That's like the most important game, man. It's a SpongeBob game.
As a surprise. I was going to leave that as a surprise.
What it was, you wanted me to tell the people about it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So yes, people. Sorry, Steel ruined the surprise, but SpongeBob SquarePants is getting a new game called The Cosmic Shape. So go check that one out as well. So, anyways, it was a good show. Just go take a look at it. But no, this has been awesome. Chat, you guys were absolutely, obviously incredible, phenomenal, stellar. I don't have any more adjectives that I can use to describe you all. Discussions in there are fantastic. All of our supporters in here weekly, giving us love, giving us more energy to what we're doing here just by being in there and showing that that feeds Steel and I as well. So thank you all for coming out this Saturday to see us. Again, shout out to the Midweek Mix-Up Collective. Shout out to Wandering Dutch, all the crews over there, all the people that are a part of that. Love you guys all as well. Thank you all for the support, getting our word out. And we'd like to return that favor as well. Shout out to Wandering Dutch. If you guys did not see in chat, go check out the tweets. He is doing a special giveaway. He is going to do a custom controller once Steel and I hit 400 subs. So go check out that tweet. Make sure you share us out. Tell everybody to come check us out. Just check out what we're doing, man. They can grab any one of our episodes. You know they're going to get the same quality, same energy out of every episode we do, no matter what we're talking about. So just get us out there, man. We appreciate you all. We love you all. Pong Soul, you know the drill. Xbox, Twitter. You can check me out tonight. Shop Podcast, PTK Blam Centurion, Fuzzy Belvedere, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time, 6 p.m. Arizona time, as PTK likes to say. Quick show, hour and a half long. He always has great guests. Come by, swing by, just drop in for a listen, man. We'll just wrap up your Saturday evening. Tuesdays, Xbox Factor Podcast, Double Barrel Gaming, Mr. Boomstick, Zemi Games. 3-Bit is taking a break. He is working really hard on some new games for us. Splinter Cell. No, just kidding. I wish. I just got to give him a hard time. But 3-Bit's taking a break, but Mav has been filling in on Tuesdays. So who knows who's going to show up. Great time over there. Xbox Factor Podcast, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time.
I think I might have a suggestion for you.
Oh,
I am available coming up Tuesdays.
That's your schedule.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you got to slide in them DMs. I'll slide in there for you. Yeah, brother. That'd be a blast. Maybe we might be seeing Steel on Tuesdays.
Maybe. I can't promise it's permanent, but I know for at least the next 2 Tuesdays, I am off. Hey.
Cool. Let's do it, brother. So that's going to be awesome. And then Friday nights, Xbox Ultimate. Magnificent 7. We're down some people right now. So shout out to Lupa, first of all. Again, hope you feel better. Obviously we miss you, and just sending you all the healing energy, Lupa, for sure.
100%.
Miss you in the community. I know how many people know you here. So again, Lupa, keep taking care of yourself, and we hope to see you back real soon here. Lady is taking a break as well. Real life comes first. Lady, shout out to you for all that you're doing and what you got going on. And you know what? Handle that business. Take care of whatever you need to do. Take care of yourself. That's all that matters at the end of the day, but we will miss you as well. And then 3-Bit is, again, so busy. We never know if we're going to get him, but guess what? We still have the Magnificent 7. Mav lines up great guests. We had 2 last night. We had Jasper and we had Obi-Wan. Great show last night, even though we were down some people. But Mav, Fun Speculations channel, go check it out. Xbox Ultimate, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. And then we'll see you back here next week. Episode 26 of the Living Split Screen. Already pumped. This week could be huge, gamers, or you know what? It could just be a regular week. You know what? It doesn't matter at the end of the day, because guess what? We are still winning as gamers. Golden age of gaming is here to stay. This is the best time ever. Play what you love what you play, enjoy it no matter what happens. News, no news, it doesn't matter. Come back here next Saturday. Steel and I is going to have something to talk about. You know that. So love you all, respect you all. Steel, brother, man, nothing but love and respect. You know that from my heart. And you know that this couldn't be here without you as much as it couldn't be here without the chat. So love you, brother. And we will talk to you all real soon. Steel, wrap it up. Get us out of here. Where are you going?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you know where to find me. If you don't know where to find me and you're part of our audio listeners, check me out. I Steel Rain, everywhere. The T is a 7. Anywhere where there's a search bar, type it in. You should find me. That's Xbox, that's PC, that's PlayStation, even though I don't have a PlayStation right now because I still need a reason to buy one. Not only that, I just, not interested at the moment. But if it's on Twitter, PC, YouTube, Xbox, hit me up in the DMs, hit me up in the messages. Let's talk gaming. Let's talk life if you want to, man. Let's get together, play some games. Let's do whatever needs to happen, man. I'm not one for just jumping in random people's parties. So shoot me a message and say, yo, I'm trying to chop it up, trying to hang out for a bit, and I'll see what's going on, man. If I'm busy, I'll let you know. I'm not one of those people who escape from anybody. So I'll tell you how I feel about you. So with that being said, again, Pong, much love to you always being here week by week. I know with everything that we got going on personally, I know it gets hard sometimes, but I do appreciate the effort, and it's I'm grateful for the fact that we have the natural chemistry, that this isn't forced, or else this wouldn't be working right now. So I'm forever grateful for that. Will be forever grateful for that. And hopefully y'all continue to enjoy the changes and everything. I'll make slight changes to LSS as we go on. I'm one of those that constantly wants to see things evolve. It's probably the Leo in me that can't help that. But with that being said, much love to y'all that come by week. And with that being said, y'all stay easy. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Keep it live, raw, and uncut, as I always say. And then as Pong always likes to say, because I didn't hear him say it this time, play what you love what you play.
I did.
And if you did, I wasn't paying attention. And I have to let you guys know anyway. But
are we live still?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, okay.
We're live. Much love to y'all. Y'all stay safe, and may the gods walk with y'all. Peace.
Later.